Futures moving downside here a little bit this morning as we hit 8:30 here. We did get Case-Shiller Home Index there, I saw, coming across at 834 on Monday. I'm going to have to refresh that list. I'll get it to you, though. But you can see futures coming into yesterday's low and that pre-market low right now, after being down overall in the pre-market as well. A ton of things moving around here this morning. More earnings to get to. PayPal with a nice report to the upside for PayPal. It's coming off right now as well. Tesla downside here. More headlines regarding these layoffs that are coming through. We'll touch on that. We did get another pop in Mullen shares moving back to the upside. We were talking about that late in the day yesterday. So a lot to look forward to today. We get AMD after the close. We get Amazon after the close today. So more earnings stealing the headlines as we head towards the Fed.
Oh, yeah.
Kicking off their two-day meeting today.
Can't wait to see what Jerome Powell is going to surprise us with tomorrow. We'll have to wait for that. The meeting starts today. We get the comments tomorrow. Lots to talk about today. Eli Lilly reporting, and they're doing really well with their weight loss drugs and their new drug coming up. PayPal, as Brendo mentioned, reported in the pre-market, and they popped on a decent news. Paramount looking to close the deal as well. They kicked out the CEO and put a new counsel in his place, so we'll have to see how that all pans out.
I have good news.
Go.
Our economy did not contract in the last quarter, but it wasn't as it didn't grow as much either. 0.2% for Canadian GDP there in February versus 0.4 expected. Yeah, we got this employment cost index data. Yeah, the Case-Shiller home price index coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. So employment cost to the upside. That could be the down move here for the overall market. 1.1% versus 0.7 expected there. On the benefits, wages, exactly the same, 1.1% versus 0.9. So yeah, getting more expensive for employers to cover the cost of employees. That's not a good sign for inflation. Yeah, there's, we mentioned it briefly, there's Mullen. Looking to make it 2 days in a row here. Huge move yesterday on these government subsidies, it looks like. I mean, you were talking about that 40,000 plus in credits.
Which is not bad because the car is like $60,000. So the majority is covered there. And we've known that these EV incentives have been a real catalyst in actually getting people to go out and buy them, especially with the elevated rates if you're going to have to pay some odd 8% on a lease or finance rate, Brendo. So not a bad look. We'll have to see if it generates some sales, though.
Yeah, we were talking about this one as well. Polestar not really doing anything here in the pre-market this morning, but Polestar officially coming out with or announcing the Polestar 5 that's going to feature a 10-minute, 10% to 80% charge time. So that's pretty impressive. In the same note, I read, though, that Toyota by 2027 is going to have a 1,500 kilometer one charge battery that's going to have the same charge time.
I wonder if it's going to be on like QuantumScape type technology.
Yeah, it's solid state. Yeah,
interesting.
It's solid state. So lots of stuff going on in EV land. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. And this move in the market not brought to you by the poor Canadian GDP numbers, because I don't think anybody cares about our GDP. But yeah, like, you know, Sean and I were just saying, I don't even think I've uttered the words employment cost index before in 20 years.
Yeah, it's
and it's like I get that it's a little hot. I mean, obviously that's hot, and it's not that wouldn't be necessarily a good thing because it's just more indication of cost rising. But yeah, a little bit surprising to see us down 0.6 on that. I mean, Tesla was already under some pressure, down 2.5, now 3% to the downside. We got PayPal, it broke out that 68 level, so that should be hopefully a good one today. I'm still looking for longs over there. Then you've got the big earnings aftermarket tonight. I mean, AMD, SMCI, but there's some heavy hitters that did report, and I liked what I saw out of PayPal, but with the buyback and then Eli Lilly doing very well, look, it's going to have to be a little bit of a patience game. Let things settle down, because I don't think this is one of those numbers that anybody expected would cause a market move. Like I said, I can't remember the last time it did, but we do have some pretty key levels. I was looking at a big resistance level on NVIDIA, which might not come into play anymore, but there's still plenty of time. That was the 885. Now all of a sudden NVIDIA is in the 60s. So. You know,
yeah, I don't. That number was kind of strange. I mean, we never really talk about that random employment number there, but it is costs going higher, not great. Maybe some more job cuts, layoffs starting to come through. We got the negative news again from Tesla, not again, but another story from Tesla about cutting of jobs, executives leaving as well. So I think today we'll have Tesla as our number one idea, but this time to the short side. Yesterday, it was only long Tesla. I think we'll look only short today. And then look at Eli Lilly. I mean, we'll, celebrate when we're right sometimes. And we talked about this on the podcast. The number one earnings play for me this week was going to be Eli Lilly. And it's the only name I bought last week. So far so good here on Eli Lilly. Nice little upside move there. I think this is a good portfolio hold, obviously, so we added to it when we got dipped into there, 730 or 733. We bought it at, so it's a nice little move up there for Eli Lilly. We talked about why we liked it on last week's podcast, episode 24. So, yeah, that was a pretty good move there. And then Tesla today, like I said, downside, but yeah, everything just got pushed a little bit there on that number. So let's wait to see if we get a bounce. We just bounced off 17.8. That's a pretty key level right there. So let's watch out for the NASDAQ down 0.5% right now. I think it'll battle back from here.
Short sell on stocks like that. We were just talking about this DJT to the upside. Yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't implying that the market was moving on Canadian GDP. Just hilarious that it was still positive. I think everyone was expecting that to be a negative number this morning. Here's a nice move for DJT this morning. More information coming out regarding this possibility of naked short selling. Trump media officially asking the NASDAQ, it looks like, to look into this, or the possibility of firms facilitating short selling on DJT. So already going here back to almost 51.
Yeah, a lot of people making issues about the fact they brought in $4.1 million in all of 2023 and lost $58.2 million. So they're saying by all normal metrics, this should be much, much lower. And they're trying to take advantage of that and push the stock down by naked short selling, which, if you don't know, is when you short sell without actually borrowing the stock. So it's a bit of a technical glitch there. So we'll have to see how this does, but up nicely already in the pre-market, dancing with $50 here, Brendo.
GEHC, just seeing popping up in front of me here as well. GE Healthcare, downside after earnings. Not a lot of volume here, but looks like revenue missing. Yeah, forecast a bit of problem as well, a little on the light side for GE Healthcare.
Yeah, you know what, GE Healthcare had been doing pretty good, but I got out of that one. I just, have a lot of other healthcare plays that we like a little bit better there. The volume is pretty poor. Like, usually I'd be all over something doing this on earnings, and you just say, hey, look at that. There's your support at the 84 level. You've got your trend down. Look for short back into the 84. But 97,000 shares of volume, yikes. There would be a potential SSR bounce, but the other thing about looking for something down 10% and then looking for the bounce like you got over there briefly yesterday in SoFi is you need volume for that as well. Like, the whole point behind it is that, okay, it's falling really heavily into volume, and when the offer releases or people can't short sell it, you do want that volume to at least give you an opportunity for it to move back the other direction. So it could be worth a look at the open. Obviously, it's a pretty decent name, but the volume, I think, making it pretty difficult to want to trade any GEHC here. I'll be staying away from that bad boy. But I do like SSR plays in general if it does get down 10%. There's other ones to be had. Like, basically, if you are an online education company and you reported last night your SSR this morning, Coursera and Chegg, both of them got absolutely shocked. They've been under pressure ever since, like, ChatGPT and AI and things not getting better for them. I think they're a little bit more on the radar if there's going to be, like, dead cat bounce type stocks. Yikes. Chegg now 15% actually to the downside. Not a very good look, as you can tell, for them. Actually, I like Coursera.
Not good at
all. My wife has used Coursera. I've been on there before, but yeah, it hasn't been good for the online educators.
This DJT, yeah, another move here again today, as Brendan just mentioned there, up breaking that $49 level. You still have on the daily here this 53 and change. That's something again, but as more and more traders get educated on what exactly a short squeeze means and what it means to, like, hold on to your shares and see if, apparently they're putting money into the stock instead of into the campaign. And so, this could have some support for a minute. That's one. We could sit here and say that the stock is worth nothing, and maybe that's the case. but it's sure worth about 50% in 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, with potentially the largest candle coming today. So again, the people are going to win some points, man. We've seen it with GameStop and AMC for a minute, although whether or not the people won at the end is a different story. Don't be one of those people. But let's wait to see what happens. It's a nice move to the upside. DJT could continue to roll today. I mean, no reason for this thing to pull back. It's tried to break 50 a couple times and stopped at 49.80. No liquidity in the pre-market means this name could move very, very quickly. Watch out for VWAP back here to 49. But yeah, DJT, 5 straight days. You guys in the chat have called it, so congratulations to everybody in the chat that's nailed this one. DJT has been a stock for you guys.
Just reading through a couple other headlines we got there this morning. There was some news coming out around the Bank of Japan possibly making some moves once again as well. Remember, the next 2 days could be a little bit light on the economic side of things going into the Fed. There won't be any Fed speakers. There won't be any major releases ahead of that. But Wednesday at 2 p.m., make sure you're with us here. Sean mentioned this one. Let's touch on it real quick here. Basically back to highs on the spike, at least up to $800 there for Eli Lilly. I mean, much better than expected. I think to be expected here across the board for some of these numbers.
Yeah, I mean, Lilly's been just a monster this year and last year. So here's a look. They hiked their full year forecast, so the street liking that. They continue to make money off their diabetes drug Mounjaro, which is doing really well. Now they have a new weight loss drug specifically for weight loss, not off-label use now. Zepbound net income absolutely destroyed their net income year over year. $2.25 billion they took home. Compare that to last year when they took home 1 1/3. Revenue up big as well. 26% year over year increase on revenue, up to $8.77 billion. So it's a beat all around here, Brendo. I mean, there's a couple of weak spots with the close guide, but the full year guide absolutely killed.
I was watching a podcast, really interesting one last night with, I can't think of his name right now, but it was an author who was on these drugs for 2 years for the specific reason to write a book about them. And the book has now come out with his results and experiences on them. But I mean, he was saying some of the new or the next generation versions of these drugs, like right now it's around 18%, like the average person using these drugs will lose 18% of their body weight. And the next generation, it's already at 24%. And they're talking about 27, 28% down the road too.
And you and I have talked about there's going to be other uses as well, addiction, substance abuse issues that could be used for it.
Yeah, they mentioned that as well, and some of the data and experiments and science, or the science-related data that was coming out on that, specifically for alcoholism, was very, very positive. Good. So yeah, maybe only the start here, guys. 6%. Yeah, nice day for Lilly.
Yeah, maybe. The thing about Lilly is, like, I actually told Sharif this morning that Lilly, I sold another 10% at about 750, like just underneath that. And I was like, oh, finally Lilly is no longer a bigger holding in my portfolio than NVIDIA. And I feel like that might not be, again, true in a week or two, because it's entirely possible that that's just not true if it breaks out that 880. Look, Eli Lilly's been an absolute beast. And if you do, this is a weekly chart, by the way, here on my trade ideas. If you look at the last time it had a consolidation resembling this, obviously this is not the same thing that happened last year late in the year, but it's pretty similar. Like, you saw it looked like it made a top and felt like it was coming back, put in a couple of higher lows. Now, obviously right now you're trading at 83, so you are up here. That candle hasn't come in, it's the weekly chart obviously. But the last time it did this, it ended up breaking out a high and not messing around with that trend into the upside. So 800, you guys can see it, like a close on the weekly above 800, and you know this thing could see. There's no reason it can't see quadruple digits. I mean, the addressable market's gigantic, all that good stuff. So this is one you don't necessarily want to be fighting. Them and Novo, just absolute beasts. And I remember, like, I actually remember when it all started was, I think it was like Biogen had like a crazy day to the downside, and it was like, oh, Biogen, there's all this upside and Alzheimer's and this and that. And then I remember, and then it was like, well, you could make the same bet, but then Eli Lilly has a bunch of other stuff in their pipeline too. It's like, okay, well, they got that, but they also have these GLPs coming online. It's like, well, why wouldn't you bet on the thing that had more into its future? And that ended up being right at the end of the day. So I love Eli Lilly. That 800, it's probably not that tradable. This is one that'll be nice if it gets to triple digits, or quadruple digits, and then we can get a split.
Yeah, look, we bought some Eli Lilly last week. We talked about it. It was discussed on the podcast. I gave you guys the bull case for Eli Lilly. Said they were going to raise their guidance. They did exactly that. Said that they would meet production. They did exactly that. So Eli Lilly wins again. Podcast wins again. We're up. We bought it at 7:30. We put our money where our mouth was, and it goes to the upside. So congratulations, everybody, with Eli Lilly. We've been long this name for a minute. We did sell some a while ago, but that was a good buyback, so I feel like we did good there. You know, we sold some Meta, we sold some Google, we bought some Lilly, and we bought Alibaba was another recent one that we bought up. So good trade here into earnings. We won't be trading it today, but another great name. Breaking through 800 is next stop. We could get up to there today, look to see if it gets going, but I don't want to celebrate too much. This is a long-term hold. Feel like we could drop back in as well. It's 300,000 shares, which is pretty nice. On the imbalance locator here, you know, it's not even, I didn't see it on here before unless it's joined the party. There's not too much size on here at all. So it's only 845 right now, but Eli Lilly, a good name. I like the stock. I think what Brendan was mentioning there about some of the technologies, bet on science and you'll probably be okay. Except for the Earth part, the flat Earth part.
Well, that's the best science in the world.
You know,
isn't it?
gravity part.
Gravity's not important. You don't have
Stuff
to,
like that.
You don't have to worry about gravity.
Eclipse. I mean, I went outside. I didn't see no eclipse, you know.
I still know.
I mean, I still have my glasses right here.
You know what?
Sticky note attached to glasses.
The good thing about the glasses is at least, like, you know, if you feel like the eyes get tired, you're staring at screens all day long, you can put those on and take a nice break.
I actually have a really sad story about one of these things.
Sad? Well,
Yeah, because yesterday my lovely wife was in the kitchen, and unfortunately, a bird rammed into the window and unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, it sucks.
But good news, it was a mechanical bird. So, you know, it was one of those ones that was sent
the
here
fake ones, yeah.
by the, so
I thought they were all fake, though.
It kind of was real, but at the end of the day, I told her to look at it, and yeah, there was some technology in that bird. So there was, I don't know if it was a Chinese bird or what, but there was some technology in there.
It beats the dead animal discussion at my house, because I was reading my daughter's stories last night, and she's like, oh, we saw, do we ever have any dead mice? I saw one at school in the yard.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to explain to her, like, it's just, it happens from like time to time. And
nature.
She's like, have you ever trapped and killed a mouse before? And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna lie to her.
Yeah.
Because like it happens, right? Like there was one in our yard.
Wow, Neil, you kill mice? Wow.
Okay, I didn't.
Send this to PETA immediately.
I'm not gonna say someone in my neighborhood puts down stuff that you shouldn't that ends up killing mice. It's like that poison stuff. I'm not gonna say who it is.
Well,
but what'll happen
that would
is
be illegal.
they'll wander into other yards. So like it's half dead. Now, what I should have done in that situation is just put it out of its misery, but I decided to release it. My wife's like, you're gonna release it when it's like half tripped up on poison. It's gonna last like half a day and just get killed anyway. So like, what's the point? So I should have done like the humane thing. But yeah, that bird, we actually had in my my parents' condo. Like that's the worst. Like you get a bird in the window, and then so like every now and then you'll see it like end up on the balcony. Ugh, it's the worst. But they're all real. We don't actually believe in that stuff. It's a bird's life.
Bird's life.
I'm not. Yeah.
When I come back into next life, I want to be like an eagle or a hawk or something. That'd be badass, man.
Hawk,
honestly,
yes.
man, you're just flying down. You're like the king of the castle. What hunts a hawk?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously something hunts everything. Everything
Maybe
gets,
like a
everything
bigger,
gets getting hunted.
Like a bigger bird.
I wouldn't mind like a dolphin. You know what I mean? Like
I don't want to be a dolphin. Then I get trapped.
Fair, but the ocean's so vast. Like you have so many. There's just
yeah.
So
I
much
don't mind
freedom
the
out
ocean.
in the
It's not bad. Fish.
I don't know.
Shrimp.
What would you want to be? I
said a hawk or eagle. I've already discussed this.
Yeah,
I already know what I want to be, man. I mean, you want to talk about the ocean? I mean, I got the whole sky. You know what I mean?
True.
And then I can chill out in golf courses. That's what I figured I would do.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah, I mean, the best part about chilling out at a golf course, this is how much I've thought about this, is you can see on the fairway, you can literally see little mice running around, and I'm a hawk.
That's basically easy.
It's wide open.
It's
free money. It's like collecting these stocks coming through. All right, an eagle. Yeah, I do like the eagle. Orca, eh? Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots of things to be. Anyways, put what animal you'd like to be in your next life, everybody in the chat. How about you there, Sharif? You want to be one of those gorillas or what? Let's go back to the desk.
Whatever happened to the
a random leg.
I don't want to see
I was just saying to Sharif, there's more and more downtown right now, and they have this habit of they'll catch something, they'll have a snack,
Oh, boy.
and then they just drop the rest. So you find these like
Wasteful.
half-eaten carcasses all over the place downtown, like squirrels and
better
stuff.
than that.
No, I got to go with you, Sean. A hawk all the way. Way more fun.
Yeah, look, well, have you seen how intelligent ravens are? And crows?
Yeah.
Like, there's videos on my favorite social
They're
media
just
platform.
annoying.
They're
loud.
brilliant, Brendo.
Yeah. I want to talk about Coke here real quick because it's actually basically dead flat. But Coke out this morning, KO, CEO saying China retail sales growth continues to improve, but consumer confidence specifically still below 2019 levels. That's on the earnings call for Coke. So China, a big market for them. I mean, some of these numbers are just insane, though. Like Q1 revenue, 11.3 billion, beating estimates. I mean, across the board, forecast was basically in line, so a little bit light here, but dead flat after the initial move.
Yeah, it's interesting here, Brendo. I mean, look, North American sales were flat. They didn't really perform all that well. Global sales grew 1%, really helped by China and the Far East. As you mentioned, it was a beat on revenue, 11.3 billion they printed. The street was looking for 11 billion. Also, earnings per share came in a little bit higher, 72 cents. The street was looking for 70. We'll have to watch and see how they do. Not really much of a pre-market mover, though.
You know what I learned recently?
What?
It's also a great Drano substitute.
That's not.
I'm not even joking.
No, but you're probably right. But it just doesn't. It's not a glowing endorsement for putting it in your body. You know what I mean? Like,
it works great though.
when the everyone's in that science experiment, right? Like to show how corrosive like that stuff can be. I'm a little surprised it's not moving a little bit better on this, but it's Coke, so it's not a trading vehicle. It's a good stock, but yeah, like it's breaking out on the daily. The numbers aren't bad, but it's dead flat here. Like it's wild because it did do a move up and down, but like where's the oomph to this? So maybe you look for some volume to come through. It is a breakout on the daily chart. Anyway, you look at it above 61.5, and now you're going to try to sustain that on earnings. But there was the pop on earnings and the drop, and now a heck of a lot of nothing. This is where you just got to pick your spots. There's a reason why you trade Tesla, and you look at PayPal today because it's actually moving in. Coke might just have to get put on the wayside. That said, I'm not a pop drinker. I don't mind owning. I've owned Pepsi. I still own Pepsi, but yeah, it's not for me. And I agree that it's not exactly a ringing endorsement that you should be putting in your body that it's good for cleaning. But hey, maybe Boeing can use it to clean some planes. I don't know.
Who knows? But remember, Coke has many more products. But at the end of the day, this is starting to work. You know, you still have some top resistance here. I mean, there's many names that have broken out. This has just been such a nice run into the print. Generally speaking, you don't want to have this kind of action into the print either, but it was just so well documented that it's been on the comeback here. So taking out this 61, you'd already did that. I would have rather seen it down here in and around 60 trying to break out, and then maybe you would have had a top move to the top side of 65. That's where I'd fade this name. So $62 right now. I think it probably gets to 65. Good quarter. More names, more people will come in and buy it. It's only down 0.13. NASDAQ down 0.4. ES down 0.3. If the market can rally, I think Coke gets not to 65 today, but break some of these highs. It's not even 200,000 shares yet. So $62 probably a good level to look at. Let's see what happens on open. Won't be heavily traded, not too much volume. Let's go over to the screen now with upgrades and downgrades and Adara.
MSCI kicking off the list here, getting an upgrade from BofA Securities. ExxonMobil coming off their earnings last week, getting an upgrade from TD Cowen. Jefferies Financial upgrading Ralph Lauren here. And last but not least on the upgrade side, Continuum trading up almost 2% after this upgrade here from RBC Capital Markets. Argus downgrading Boeing to kick off this list on the downgrade side. Chegg, after that earnings yesterday, earnings not well received by the market, that earnings report, getting a downgrade as well by Jefferies Financial. Needham downgrading Paramount after its own earnings report, which included the announcement of the resignation of its CEO, Bob Bakish. And last but not least, XP Inc. getting a downgrade from Goldman Sachs, guys.
Yeah. Oh, just kick them while they're down on Boeing, eh? It is what it is, but the stock had Look, it had a good 2-day run. There's no question about that. It looked like it was on the verge of something decent, good. I guess good things can happen to Boeing. Like if it gives up, oh, Randy's in the house. If it gives up 171 today, I think it goes gap fill. But all I want to see is hold 72, break out the top, because the relief rally would be much more exciting than the continued short on this stock. So it's broken that 72, it needs to hold today, and then take out this local high at 174. That's the setup that I'm looking for on Boeing. Tesla's up, Tesla's down. It's down 3% because they're doing layoffs, which we already knew they were going to be doing. What's up with that?
Well, layoffs are layoffs. Cost cutting, cutting things to the bone. The whole China self-driving deal, boost. Again, as I said, buy the dips when you can. There's more coming. Layoffs, everybody's doing layoffs. The Chinese markets, the competition in the EV space is huge. They're complaining about these EVs from China piling up on shores in Europe and sitting in ports. So let's ride the storm and see what happens.
Ride the storm, he says.
Ride the storm by the dips.
I see you're a little bit chilly in here in a sweater, as I'm like freezing my butt off.
Yeah.
I feel my hands are cold again, but I do feel.
It's always it's coffee o'clock always. This is done, but I'll cheers anyways.
It's coffee time.
No, there's like a sip.
Yeah, I was looking at Shopify. They don't report till May 8th, but I really like this name, pulling back into the $71 area. We had looked at this at 70 and actually lost on it going long that one day that it dipped. The one day that it dips under is the one day that we get the price. But it's really bounced off that level. So if this market does come in today, I think we should be somewhat excited about a Shopify 70 long. So I like this trade. I think Shopify is going to see. You see the difference what I'm talking about with Coke? Now, it's May 8th, so you still have a week away. But, like, if this name hangs around here, I think Shopify works. So I like what they're doing. New real estate here in Toronto. We talked about that. They have the pay at your, what are those little machines, like the square machines, but the anyways, whatever. I forget what they are. Like the Interact machines here, I don't know what they are in the States, but yeah, the squares. No, we're talking about that. But yeah, this tap as you go pay stuff. I've seen a lot of those Shopify machines around here. I don't know what's up with that, but maybe they're getting aggressive back into that market. But Shopify back down to $70. I think I like that one. So I'm going to be looking at Shopify if we get a dip in the market. I am feeling today though bearish. So we were bullish yesterday. We only had longs until the end of the day where we lost on some Tesla shorts before making one back at the end. But today I'm feeling bearish to start with. So Shopify on a move down is something I like. Point of sale.
That's right, point of sale.
That's the question mark. All right, we'll get into a few other things here. I was just noting 3M to the upside. They reported. I saw NIO up 3% today as well. Some of the Chinese EV names moving around after that huge move in Tesla yesterday. Li Auto, not so much. I feel like I say this every time. All the other ones are up, but Li Auto's not. NIO, nice look here in the pre-market, up 3% as I mentioned. So let's get into what we need to know here heading towards the open on a Tuesday.
51.47, guys, just below that 50.50 that we talked about, 51.50, excuse me, that we talked about yesterday as that key level of resistance. It absolutely features in. We couldn't break through it on a closing basis. It also rejects off the 200 period here on the 4-hour, so that doubled the resistance there. To the downside, let's say 5,100 if we keep continuing down as we are. Same thing for resistance, 51.50.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab this. It's absolutely free every single day. Go to the website, tradertv.live. You'll see that pop up. All you need is an email address, and then you get that every single day sent right to your inbox. Just reading through a couple of headlines here as far as PayPal, top of the list this morning, is concerned. Yeah, revenue beat. I mean, I have to say, there's not a lot of volume behind this move this morning, but up nicely anyways, coming off their report.
Yeah, look, and the only really negative here that I could see was their user base contracted a little bit, and that was part of their valuation, the fact that they had almost 500 million active users that they could monetize, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But total payment volume did increase 14% year over year on the quarter, so for whatever reason, people are continuing to use this more. It was also a beat on revenue, $7.7 billion. They grew about 9.4% year over year.
Yeah, trying to get going once again here, guys. Back to session highs anyways for PayPal.
Sharif, you just sprinkle some buyback on there. It was like $5 billion, something like that. But anyways, look, it's obviously decent. And regardless of good earnings, bad earnings, price action says breakout. So remember, like last night, we're like, yeah, it's going to gap through this. And you'll already have broken this on the earnings. And at the open, if it's above 68, you know, you're going to be looking at prices that aren't 68 for the long. Thank you so much, Randy, for that.
With our fancy
Nice
cups.
Well, I have the.
All right, cheers.
I already had the new one.
The real trader.
Shout out to Mark and appreciate you
Yes.
for the customized mugs. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it. So I'll go. I'm going like it's a breakout at 68. I'm looking for the dip back into 68. Now the market might have said. I already forget the name of that number that came out at 8:30. That's how much we care about it. But the market might be looking relatively weak. There are plays I like to the short side. Like I said, I might not get NVIDIA, but PayPal above that 68 where it broke out on the daily. If we dip back in, I'm just looking for some longs. Maybe it's the 70 level. It just held there. Oh, I'll use a 3-minute because that's a bad dark pool wick that you have in there. But yeah, it just held 70. So I could maybe play off that at the open. But the 68's the real one. If we get underneath $70, I want to look long into that level on PayPal. So I like the break on the daily chart. I like the buyback. But ultimately, this is about that price action. And we knew we wanted this one long if it was above 68. And it looks like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, so that was my little thing about Shopify there, was a little undercover play against the PayPal. With PayPal had a good number there. Again, I know they're different businesses, but you know, if we do have a strong consumer, PayPal should be okay. 7% increase on that side. They did have a decrease in the active users, which is expected. I feel like there's so many different options now. Like I go online, I can pay everything with Apple Pay. Like even my kid this morning wanted to get something. He's like, oh, just take Apple Pay, you know? So it's like, it's just so easy, but I still like PayPal. I feel that it's working. I have the same level. It will be on the sticky note, but any kind of a push back into the 68, 69 level, I think you buy it because that's the break. PayPal's been a great name. You know, we didn't get out of any of this. I feel like I could check when we last bought it, but I don't even feel like it's been a year ago. I feel like it's been longer than that. So we're probably not in the money, but PayPal trying to get back up to the upside. I like a 68 break here, so that's going to be my long. I feel like we could dip into there. Don't catch a falling sword here, though. Let's wait to see what it does. 68 will be an actionable level, but it could easily not hold as well. So let's wait on this name, PayPal, with the negative market. I'm feeling bearish today. Will not be at the top of my list, but is a trade that I think we'll eventually get into.
All right, a few notable earnings names to come after the close tonight. This is one of them, AMD downside right now. There was, a minor analyst note on this and a price target cut. AMD not as strong, I guess, as the rest of them yesterday, but as far as chip names are concerned, we did get back to highs. That's NVIDIA, basically back to support levels right now. Some of the other ones involved in that move yesterday faring a little bit better. I mean, overall, the ETF here, SMH, ending the day at highs.
Yeah, I'll definitely be listening to the earnings call, see what Lisa Su says about their upcoming GPU, the MI300. We've been waiting to hear about how they're going to scale this, who's going to be making for them, and what kind of orders they have from some of the hyperscalers. So I'll be all ears tonight with respect to how they're going to do. So Q1 2024 consensus was $5.64 billion in revenue. The guidance was a little bit below that, $5.4 billion. So we'll have to see if they can beat tonight, Brendo.
Yeah, I saw this one yesterday too. I don't think we touched on it in the morning, but ON Semiconductor came out with their report early on yesterday. Also had a pretty good day, ending at day highs.
Yeah, and look, AMD actually was, before that number, possibly trending into the level I wanted to play, which is 165 short. So last time it got up here, it's not really a huge gap or anything like that, but you go back to the 17th, when it did that huge push down, it was like a double or triple top at 165, and then right into 157.5. So I was looking at that range today. Short into the top, obviously that it's a little bit less likely. So if I'm favoring shorts, as long as it's not breaking 165, there's pre-market high, there's 63 that come into play. NVIDIA would have been a similar story, but then 885, which looks a little, if you pull back even further and make this like a 30-minute, here, let's do it right now. If you go like a 30-minute chart and then zoom out a little bit further, you can see the 885 level pretty similar to AMD's for resistance. That's a little bit closer in terms of percentage-wise. So either one of those two. Obviously, I like shorting pops and Intel, but AMD with the report and then the bigger levels on these two, I think that's the way to go. The number did drive us a little bit further away from those resistance levels, so we'll have to play it by ear if there's any pops. If it comes a little bit shallow of those levels, I am willing to get in, especially on AMD. Don't mind trading this pre-earnings. I actually, if you look at it where it's already come from, AMD's fallen so far that after earnings, I don't think they have to do that great to get a bit of a relief rally if they haven't already done so. But yeah, today I'm looking 165 short.
Okay, all right. AMD price target cut. Yeah, look, I mean, I didn't even look at AMD or anything yet today. We didn't really, oh no, we did trade AMD yesterday. It was actually a good fade off of this level at the end of the day. But it was right there, actually. Looks the same, but there's where it was. And then eventually we ripped higher. You guys will remember that trade. Yeah, it's up today, market's down today, and we have a price target cut. So not really acting normal for me. Possibly a fade up there to 162 and change. I mean, to me, the more important name obviously is going to continuously be NVIDIA. We did have a great 880 short. I think it was Kyle yesterday or somebody had this. I think you wait for that level to come in again. Didn't break it all afternoon, and when it did, it went like $2 or $3. So I'd say you wait for 880. You could easily get that pop early. NVIDIA up to 880. The sticky note will be out in a couple seconds.
All right, Tesla back on watch here as we were mentioning some more headlines coming out about these job cuts and layoffs coming through today. Monster day if you missed it yesterday. All the way, I mean, it was what, 15-16% at the highs for Tesla on the back of this news coming out of China in regards to full self-driving. And then today we're right back to support levels here. I mean, it's 3.2%. Yeah. To be expected after a 15 plus kind of a day.
Exactly. We were talking about 200 almost yesterday. All right, guys, here is the deal. So the layoffs are going to come in the following departments. Supercharger. There's going to be a significant amount of layoffs. The supercharger head there, Rebecca Tanushi, also out. There's going to be another individual here by the name of Daniel Ho. He runs their new vehicle program. He and his team are also out. There's also a public policy team that's being let go. Rohan Patel and his crew are going to be out. And here's what Elon wrote, Brendo. Pretty aggressive statement here. Hopefully these actions are making it clear that we need to be absolutely hardcore about the headcount and cost reduction. He goes on to write. So, he has about 140,000 employees. He wants to cut about 12% of that.
There's also this from Goldman this morning, tempering some expectations here for this FSD from yesterday in China, saying yes, it's a step in the right direction, but still nowhere close to a quote unquote eyes off, unsupervised kind of situation.
Yeah, well, I think we know that. Like, is it really, if it was imminent that you were just like hands-free, don't even bother, no one needs to be in the vehicle, you don't have to attend it, I think we know we're not there yet. I think that's fine. I didn't want to change. I don't really have the generally different levels on Tesla because I thought yesterday was a fade 200 to 205. Now, obviously, when I sat down today, I thought the same thing, and then this number came out, and Tesla was already to the downside. The 180 to 184 was this level on the daily, and then 180 is where the body of those wicks are. To me, that's the buy area. So down in here, if it cannot hold on to 180, I think it goes gap filling today. The other name, we didn't really pay too much attention to this yesterday, but NVIDIA, Rivian made a pretty valiant attempt to take out the top, and this is it's a beaten up stock that's been trying to go, and you're starting to see a little bit of a bottoming pattern. Clearly, it's now down 2.5%. When I was on the train home yesterday, I'm like, oh, if this breaks 950, it looks pretty good. And I know Tesla was going. Probably going to have to put this in the back burner. Obviously, overnight, it looked a heck of a lot better than it does this morning. Might not see it, but Rivian, again, showing signs of an attempted bottom break. It's got, or top break here at the 950 level. It's showing some signs, unfortunately, down 2.5%. This might be a later on in the week kind of thing, but I just wanted to bring it to attention because at some point this week, you might see me in a breakout long on Refrain.
All right, so yesterday we talked about Tesla was P&L number one. This was yesterday's sticky note, so it is not Happy Monday today. But we wrote down here 185 long yesterday, right? So if you're gonna look to see what we did yesterday, there's the 185 long. We had that numerous times. You can go find it on X or on Instagram as well, at TraderTV.Sean. There's the 185. We hit it early, we hit it late, we hit it again. And then by late, it's 10 o'clock, 10:30. So now I look and I say the same kind of thing, but I'm looking short today, obviously. So I'm not looking long. Yesterday, we were only long this name until we were short at the end and we lost. So today, we're only gonna look short on this. I've written down here on today's sticky note, let me go find it for you. It's just out right now. We wrote down right here that I like the 191 short. Watch out for 195. I want to be short until we break 195. This name was just 140 a week ago. Let's not forget about where we're coming from as well. It's really heated up. The longs have won, right? The shorts could have a day at some point, and maybe that day is today. I'm shorting this name into that 191, which is right there. I won't hold this short all the way up to 195, but that's really where I want to stop going short. So, you know, up into here, 195, possibly a 196, something like that. We'll test those areas for the short. But for me, no longs for this guy. I mean, we nailed it yesterday at 185. So depending on what we do, if it just kind of hovers around, we could try that. But I'm going to try to make the bigger plays on the short side today for Tesla. So that's kind of what I'm looking for there. And we'll see if it comes through. We'll start it at 191, and then we'll see. We'll see where we go. The market right now is kind of flattish off that number, hasn't really moved. But Tesla, the story is, as I wrote it down, it needs to cool off. So huge move up. There's 140, like I said a week ago. It's up to $200. This is not normal movement. Needs to cool off. I'm going short Tesla today.
Yeah, monstrous. We're just talking about MicroStrategy here. Let's touch on crypto downside a little bit this morning. Bitcoin sitting at this level right now, 61,000 coming into play on the daily chart here. Just sitting here. This is a daily chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, call it 5 or 6 different times we've been sitting at this 61,000 and change, trying to hold. So big time support here.
And lower highs, Brenda, on that chart, so a little concerning. All right, with respect to MicroStrategy, they reported yesterday after the bell, and here is how they did. So we're not really looking for MicroStrategy to produce a whole lot of revenue, but it is one metric. Sales came in at $115 million. That missed the street's expectations of $121 3/4. The company now holds, Brendo, 214,400 Bitcoin with an average price of 23,680. So he's well in the money there, but as you and I were talking about off camera, mostly financed with debt. Canaccord Genuity also chiming in on MicroStrategy today, lowering the price target to $15.90 from $18.10.
Still, I mean, that's an enormous trade for MicroStrategy. 20% short interest, so there's that. On MSTR, it's also, yeah, as we were saying, like relatively small float on this stock as well versus the market cap, 15.5 million shares.
It's been known to squeeze, although with a little bit of weakness. I mean, we're testing 61,000 on BTC. Yeah, it's hard to like the long on that. You know, when I look at this, what we do actually trade around here, at least from time to time, is Coinbase. And I put this trend line in yesterday, sort of demonstrate what this was holding on to on coin down to 2%. This is the 50 period. You can see it's hugging the 50 period. Every time it breaks, it's closed above, and then the following day, it's right back underneath. So breaks, close above, right back underneath. You could be breaking that trend in here today. Like 210 doesn't look good if Coinbase fails to hold on to that level. So yeah, that's the one I'll be watching today. Like if this can't hold on at 210, I'll be looking for some shorts. MSTR is just not a trade for me. If you're in there on the options, it's not a dissimilar setup. Like in a general sense, the setup is very similar on MSTR, but if you're executing, there's a very big difference between trading Coinbase under 210 and looking for an MSTR short, underneath 1100. Like it's a different beast. The floats lower. The spread's going to open up on you. Everything is completely different. Now you got the jacket on.
Yeah, it's too cold.
It is. No, don't get me wrong. Like it's weird because it's actually warmer today outside than it was yesterday. But it's inside the studio that it's cold. Is all.
Yeah, all right, gonna watch out for my mic, I guess. Okay. All right. Yeah. Look, I mean, with Bitcoin going down to 61.2, we just talked about MSTR. Obviously, it's a highly levered Bitcoin product. So I don't. As far as a trade, if you want to sort of YOLO something, I think MSTR plus Bitcoin price, like I would rather go long on MSTR than any of these other things, only because you get that bump if and when that does happen. So it's a levered Bitcoin product. So if you like that, great. But look at IBIT right here. If you just want to go one-to-one and you want to trade crypto, I mean, this is breaking 34. I remember when we went long 34 and we were like, yeah, 34 is a good price, baby. And now it's right back into that level. And I'm not going to be buying more. It doesn't look good. I mean, whatever we want to talk about with crypto right now, it's not a great story. We had the halving, now it's trying to figure itself out, back into these levels. We've seen 60,000 hold before. I can call up a Bitcoin chart as well. It's going to look like this anyways, unless we're going to go way back when this didn't exist. It looks like we're going to give it up, man. We're under the 50-period moving average. Yeah, it doesn't make me very happy, but move down to this $30 area, which I think is 50. This is why I need the Bitcoin chart out, 56, 57,000. That could be sort of the next area for this. 54. Yeah, darn it. Yeah, anyways, I'm not super impressed with this. We talked about Mara down at 14.5. That could be something that you catch a falling knife on as well, because we've seen this hold a couple times. So this, to me, is the safer play of everything. But, yeah, I'm already invested in crypto, so it hasn't been a nice run the last couple months. We'll see if it can hold out these levels. It has to hold 60.
I just want to mention Apple here real quick. There was a bit of an uptick there on this, but I was just reading this really interesting note. It was the first time it closed above its 50-day moving average if you go out to a daily chart. Let me back up. Since 2001, when the iPod was released, there was 6 different periods where Apple was below its 50-day moving average for 62 trading days or more in that period. And yesterday ended the latest, and it was the longest period below its 50 since 2015. I don't know if that means anything, but it seems like a long time. But trying to get back higher right now for Apple once again after that big day yesterday. But yeah, we were going to talk about Roku here. Nice deal for Roku teaming up with the Trade Desk on a data-driven digital marketing agreement for advertising on Roku.
Yeah, they're looking to monetize their platform. Obviously, they have 81 million streaming households. I'm talking about Roku, so there's a lot of eyes there that they could look to monetize. Obviously, that is one of their major sources of revenue, digital advertising on their platform. So we'll have to see how they do. Good partnership here with a non-TV or non-streaming kind of company, Trade Desk.
It's not a lot of volume, 251,000 shares here for Roku, but trying to hold 60 on this pullback.
So, look, Roku, they basically came up with that good news just so there was no flat bottom break. I'm completely convinced of it. No, I'm just joking. It was setting up like false breakout on earnings. I can get rid of this trend line. I should always do that. False breakout on earnings, and it looked like it was trending down into a bit of a break at 55. Clearly, that's no longer the case. But you know what? That's not bad, because if support holds in a situation like this, and it's got a short float, I guess you have to hold on to 60. I'd rather it be breaking a bigger level out, like 63. It's not quite there. Like, it's still diddling in the middle between that bottom and the 63 level. So if it breaks 63, I think I'd like to get involved. Remember with Roku, I think it's a stock that usually on earnings you get like double-digit moves times 2, like 20, 30% has been pretty normal for it, and it's still inside of the range. So I know it's up 2.5%, but if it can get above 63, like it's a kind of stock that can run even further than that. Like the 63 level, I think, is a little bit more interesting. At least that plays into 66, 67. Still a couple of bucks to go. I don't want to diddle in the middle with Roku. We kind of glossed over that Apple story there. Apple could be closing above the 50 period, and it's 173. It would be so much better if that number hadn't somehow moved the market, which I wasn't suspecting. So that 50 period's at 173. If it doesn't hold, I still like 171 from yesterday. And if it gets down there, I think that would be the support level for me. But Roku needs to break 63 bucks. I'm not trading that post-earnings inside of the same range it was in before. It's got to break into a new range after earnings for Roku.
All right. Yeah, I won't be looking too much at Roku today, but I was looking at ARM right now, just trying to find out some different names. We had last looked at shorting this one. We had talked about missing that that 120 break and the $100 break. But right now on the daily for ARM, you're right back into this 105 area again. So something to short and to think about 104 to 105 here for ARM. So this is just going to be another one of those names that we're going to look to see if it bumps back up into that range. I mean, we were there yesterday, down today. Again, we had NXPI earnings come through last night as well. They were initially to the upside and still holding. So NXPI saving some of the chip names again. And look at this name into the report. You know, you want to talk about a name that's been super strong. These semiconductors continue to work up to 260, looking to break out through that 265 marker today is NXPI. So make sure that you do join us live daily, all day on More Trader TV Live, as we have a second feed going, 3 feeds. We have many feeds going. Also the landscape portrait feed that's going through there as well. You can check that out on your iPads and on all socials and everywhere. And then on the recap show, we had all the earnings last night, and one of the best ones was that NXPI. So a nice move back up to the upside today, holding that 250 area. So again, maybe dip buy opportunities for NXPI, checking in on NVIDIA, and then we'll throw it back to the desk, because I think we're really early today. I don't know why.
Yeah,
882 or so. Well, we didn't have a guess or anybody. 882 top from yesterday for NVIDIA. I still really like that fade if we can get up to 880. So this is going to be the name that I'm going to look at ahead of what's reporting. We have AMD and Amazon. So that should be some exciting movements there. I like Amazon dip buy opportunities. I think they're going to have a monster quarter. This is one of the names that I'd like to buy if it does whoosh down. If we get some sort of a meta moment where maybe they're spending too much and the street doesn't like that, I'm a buyer of Amazon. I think, as opposed to some of those other names, into the quarter, this name's actually great. We've already whooshed out into the quarter, and now you're starting to make a move back. So this little flush, base, and go. It's not near the high. It's near the highs, but it's fine. So I feel like into earnings, we could take this 190 and see a two handle on this tomorrow. So let's see what happens here with Amazon. Yeah, that's funny, Danielle, or Daniel Melendez there. This is the new cold studio feed. That's what I'm on right now.
Ice cold, baby. Ice cold. See?
Got that chew going on, my guy? All right, back over to the desk.
All right, 3M, real quick, just to wrap things up. It's bonus round time. 3M, another earnings name today. I'm just going over some of the headlines for them. Profit estimates, price hikes this morning as well from analysts. They did announce some cost cutting. A little bit slower sales, so a downtick on the sales side, but maybe the cost cutting benefiting. But 3M up nicely here.
Yeah, and it's interesting here. So they raised their dividend for 25 straight years. And that may be coming to an end here, guys, as they look to reset their dividend, or how they're calling it, after they spun out their healthcare business, Solventum. They're looking at reassessing how much they're paying out in dividends. So typically that's something that causes the stock to sell off. Not this, though, up 4.84%.
This was if you go back to, there we go, there's a daily chart, pandemic times. There was a lot of positivity around this. On the 3D printing side of things, but it's come off significantly since then. But breaking through finally on this, guys, breaking through that 95 for 3M.
You know, with stocks like this, if you're trading something like this one, like, it's probably more interesting for swing traders, because your real trade is like, oh, thank you very much. Ty's like, yo, you can have my cardigan. Now it's almost like I have a cloak. I feel like I'm like Jon Snow or something, like up on the wall, like my paisley shawl just sitting here. Thanks, Ty. It is freaking cold in here.
See, now you look 70 years old.
I do look. It's like it does make me look way older. This whole thing. But now
Exactly. Good. See, this is why this guy's always thinking, man. This guy is always thinking, Ty.
We love you.
Wow. Get a different target market. This guy is genius.
We should brand this for sure because I do have my own. I just did not bring a sweater. I've worn sweaters and brought a sweater almost every single day. You guys see it on the show. And then this week I'm like, it's supposed to warm up. I'm no longer doing the sweaters because it's spring. And spring my butt. Like it's freezing in here. But 3M's probably not much of a trade. I think when you see things like that stock, they're swing trades because when they consolidate like that and finally break out, at least you can hold it for the the days and weeks that it might take to give you that 15%. But as a trading vehicle, I'm just not going to be into it for 3M. We got other things and other fish that we do want to be able to fry today. One of those, just a reminder, SoFi was SSR yesterday because it was down over 10%. Of course, that will extend to today. It's broken $7. I'm looking at the 650 level on the daily for a day 2 SoFi play. If it gets down to 650, I'll look for an SSR bounce. Has to get there first, has to show a bid. If I see it, I'll go for that. Same long as yesterday off 7.
All right, just looking here, I'm just trying to figure out where we'll be for this open. So we just did get the imbalances coming through. I'm going to take this jacket off now. It's getting a little warm in here. Well, I'm warm, but Tesla right there for the sell. So that is starting to go to the downside. So it looks like we will be somewhat correct as we'll do this ridiculous bear riding thing right now. We are looking short on Tesla. So far, so good. I wish we were in it, but we are not. Down 3 and a bit percentage points. Let's go, Sharif.
All right, guys, today we are talking about fading the open within the context of the gap and go strategy. Catch that with Adair and I today at 11 on How to Trade.
Appreciate the jokes. I'll give it back to Ty. I mean, all in fun around here. We like to have a little bit of fun. With only about 3 minutes to go, obviously you got to be a little bit patient. We've talked about this for extending moves the last couple of days, whether it's earnings or post-earnings. Once you're into that pocket, you want to make sure that a stock like AMD yesterday at the open was a $4 mover to the downside before retracing. So when I say I like a short at 165, that's less than $4 from here. It's entirely possible it could shoot up like that. The pre-market high sits there as well. I am looking for a curl. It's a pre-earnings play there. PayPal is still, it's holding 70s right now, but I think it might dip into that 68. You know what? I don't like the falling knife thing. I always have like orders out there, but look, I like a bounce off 68, but I don't have to sit out there. I know I like it if it bounces off that level. It's starting to get a little bit weak and trendy to the downside. So when it is trending short term in your direction, you can afford to be a little bit patient as it falls in. So let's be patient like we always say we should be. I do see some things that are showing strength. Oh, that's a bad wick on Meta. Yikes. That notwithstanding, Meta's been bouncing the last couple of minutes about $3. Thank you in the chat for pointing that one out. The big level was, I like to say about 36, 37 in here. That could be worth a test. 450 is obviously bigger, but I'll try to get rid of that candle wick so this chart isn't as absurd, but nice little bounce in Meta, although it's retracing it. Everything seems to be coming in back into the downside after that higher employment cost report or whatever the heck we're calling it. 2 stars it gets, and then it moves the market.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're calling it. All right, so I've already talked about that exact strategy when I discussed PayPal was not to sit at $68. So I'm just going to wait to see if it dips down into that level. If it does, we'll be buying that up pronto. But we're going to wait to see how it reacts. So that's what we're going to do on that. So we'll wait for PayPal to make a move back in on that one. The big short for me is going to be Tesla. We'll fade some pops. Looks like 189 is where VWAP is right now. So any kind of a pop into 189, I want to be there for that as well. But the ultimate trade would be up near that 191-ish area. So let's see what happens here with Tesla. Wouldn't surprise me if it did get going. So that's Tesla right there. Apple, we are looking for a short, but that's another trade that we have pending. That's not until 174-ish and change, near that upside for Apple. That's another trade that we like. I still like that Shopify long. I don't have a bid down there. I can put it. We're not going to get there. This was more like a kind of a disaster situation where if Shopify does get down here, we'll take it. So I'll put it out there right now. Why not? We'll put a Shopify bid down there at 70.50 or 70.25, see if that fills. And then the other trade that we have on there was Palantir, actually. We didn't talk about this one. Yesterday, Palantir was a money maker at 22.50. We nailed this stock yesterday. It was a great long down there. We were very, very patient. We hit this long. Now I'm actually trying to go the other way, shorting off 23. So let's see if we're able to get Palantir up near 23 to try that short. But that's a dangerous game.
Yeah, let's be careful. Let's be patient off that open. Also like NVIDIA 885 if we can get there. That's actually not that far at 14 bucks away because NVIDIA, it's only 1.5%. Adara, Tuesday, ring it in 2 and 1. Casino open or market open, depending on how you like to call it.
Casino.
Well, I mean, it's a saying, it's a phrase. You guys know what we mean exactly by that. So let's get going here. Obviously, AMD is still 160. Oh, PayPal's already starting to run. Yeah, it's going to happen. You don't always get exactly what you want. You can want a dip buy. You can like a dip buy. But that doesn't mean you're going to get a dip buy. But let's continue to play the patience game. I see Tesla a little bit to the upside, but I don't think it's enough just yet.
All right, we're short Tesla right now, 188.85. We'll ring some registers if we get back down into the 50s or so. Take a little bit of change off right there. Let's go. Ring the register there at 50, just temporarily. We'll take another piece out if we get a little bit lower on Tesla down into 188 or so. But there we go. One trade to start the day. Let's see where we go from here. Tesla so far so bad as it's tried. There it is. Nice little move right there. Hit the sirens. We talked about that fade up to VWAP. Hey, Neil, it's your first Dollar Club winner right there for TSLA. So let's see what winds up happening now. Hopefully we can, get a little more than $1. But right now it's where it is. So we'll see about a downside push into 187. It's a 1-for-1 shot right here. And yeah, we're doing it again. Shout out to my girl, Brittany.
Brittany. Leave Brittany alone, please.
Boom.
I actually hate that meme. We're coming to the upside here on NVIDIA and AMD, but I still want 880. I don't want to hit the trigger just yet. If it does curl pre-market high, I'm willing to make that fade. I'm only resting at 885. PayPal is holding on to the $70 level. So there's your wick. Pre-market low effectively was 69.5. If it doesn't break this to give a 68 fill, then I look for the long off of this hold of the 69.5 level. Again, if you're being patient, you got to stay patient. I can probably cancel the 200. That doesn't really matter on Tesla. It's too weak for that. The 191, if we're shorting pops, and the 195 can come into play. But if it's under 200, I do want to fade it. Still playing the patience game, like no entries for me. We talked about the SSR plays, Chegg. That one's starting to head to the downside. If it can hold on to 550 or the $6 level, that's where I would get involved. And then SoFi was the other one. SoFi headed toward that 650 level. Looks like this one could come in first for potential SSR bounces. Yikes, SoFi, another 5%. Oh, goodness.
Downside, yeah, yesterday at the end of the day, I said SoFi will be sub $7 tomorrow, and it's not even anywhere near 7 right now. That's too bad for SoFi. All right, so Tesla went back into $1 into the money again right there, but it did climb back up. Let's see what it wants to do. I do realize that this name has been bouncing around quite a bit here. We'll take another bid at 188 if we're able to get that. Cancel our 187 and go over and see what Adara's up to.
Nice move to the upside for Global Mofi Metaverse right off the open. GMM here up almost 86%. Basically announcing that with HeartDub, it's going to be leveraging NVIDIA's Omniverse to develop this generative video AI platform, Gauss Speed. So basically an AI headline here involving the use of NVIDIA's Metaverse, bringing GMM to the upside, guys.
GMM, good one, not going to be on the radar. We looked at some Mullen recently, but I got to get back over to PayPal. It's now broken 70, down into 69. So it's still trending into the downside. It's trying to hold that even dollar. I'm now on the bid at 68. We do have, oh, that smells good. We do have one other chip name that we didn't mention that's doing a very similar pattern as usual, which is breaking pre-market lows almost right away. That's Intel. I'm going to short this one back into the pre-market high. If it goes higher, I always short it into the previous day resistance. If it doesn't, then we always short it off of the pre-market lower highs in there. We do want this one for a fade play as it's starting to come in pretty heavily as well.
All right, let's go again, man. Face slap it again, man. We just reloaded it one more time there for Tesla. So we just got a 190 fill up there for Tesla. So we're just sticking with what we're doing, man. And right now we're another $1 off that reload. But we took some out there at 188 and change. We do have some numbers. Oh, wow. Nice move down. Come on, give me that 188 and change right now. Let's put something in the 30s just to get a little bit of a dip if we're able to. Oh, man, no. What? Well, we're at 29. Right here on Tesla to ring the register again for $1.50 on that last reload. But let's see if it can come back in for us on Tesla. So far, so good here. Let's get a downside push. The other short that we wanted today was Apple. That's not in the pocket yet. We said that we would be as patient as possible with PayPal. That's coming in into our 68 level, but that's not hitting yet. So we'll wait for that one. And then Palantir to the upside. We've done really well on Tesla, man. So let's just hopefully that will dip in again as well. And Palantir making that move higher. So yeah, so far not much happening on the names that we're looking for, but we can always look other places, including NVIDIA, which was...
It just wicked the 880.
Oh, it did. Okay, well, that's a level that we wanted, and I didn't notice it, but that's okay. We'll get it next time.
I mean, I like the 885 a little bit better, but the pre-market high, we said, if you don't get the 885, we'll take the pre-market high. It wicked 888. I got 78.5 on the way back in. I'm getting out if it gets to 75. I still think this is a little bit strong, that move to the upside. Take it and run. I like AMD as well.
Look at this.
Here comes PayPal screaming back. Oh, goodness, we might have missed PayPal. Let me get back over to PayPal in a quick second. I just quickly took the 2.5 on NVIDIA, but PayPal is now holding a higher low at 69. So this is the one. I knew I wanted this one long. I want to take multiple shots at PayPal. So there's your wick bottom in front of 68. It's holding on to the 69. I'm going to give it to that low, and I'll take another shot at it if it does continue to break lower. But I wanted to buy the first sign of strength on PayPal today.
All right. Yeah, Tesla just really cranked in there, guys. It went to 187.30 right there. So that was a huge move back down in. So we're going to put another bid down there at 187.60 or so just to see if that's something that we can get or not. But right now, Tesla on the way down off of that reload. So one trade and damage being done right now so far on that name. So let's just wait to see if it continues to go or not here for Tesla. We do have those lower bids right now, almost $1 and $2 now in the money for Tesla, but we need to get that bid. We're at 61, and there it is right there. So that is a hot dog cannon for you, Kyle Burdett. There we go. We'll take one trade with decent amount, and now we'll hold on for that one. It is sticky note idea number 1, and it is the short sell for Tesla, and there it goes. To that downside. Apple still doing nothing. Shopify up. Look at Shopify as the market kind of hangs out. We knew we wanted Shopify long. It went 71.80 at open to $73. So congrats on Shopify today as that one continues to make moves higher. But it's Tesla really for me that sings the song today.
Yeah, I like some chip shorts. Look, I got in and out very, very fast on NVIDIA as it broke that bottom. I went over to PayPal, which might turn into a loser. It's the only long we have. But AMD, we also like short.
Oh my God.
It just broke 160 to the downside. I should scalp some of this out, kind of like we did with NVIDIA. Intel, we talked about this doing its normal pattern, breaking under pre-market lows, short it back to that level. So that's what I'm going to do. It's a very similar pattern. It looks like it's going to be weak. But just very quickly, I like chip short. One was a fade off 880. This one actually breaking 160 to the downside on AMD, as that is going to turn into flush city. Oddly enough, it was like there were a couple of decent earnings reports for some smaller chip names, but it doesn't seem to matter in here today. As the market reversing right in here. Dan McIsaac just said you like Starbucks. Haven't looked at Starbucks in a hot minute, but we're focused on some individual names in the chip sector. And PayPal, which might make a fresh low. Remember my strategy. The second it showed strength, I'm long. If it takes out a fresh low, then I look for another entry point. I am going to adhere to my stops every single time when we're catching a falling knife.
Guys, I can't believe that I'm really glad that Neil had it, but when I talked about taking that NVIDIA at 880, I should have just sat there. That was one definitely a mistake by me. That should have been, we should have been 2 for 2. Glad Neil had it, but let's go see what Adair has.
McDonald's worth taking a look at here. Initially to the downside after its earnings, but 3 positive green candles so far in the 3-minute since opening. Slight miss here for earnings per share, but beat for sales. Pretty mixed report overall, but McDonald's trying to recover, still down about 1.5%, guys.
So they're not loving it?
Yeah, no, I wasn't loving that stock for a minute. We sold McDonald's in and around, I think it was 290, 285 and change. That was a couple weeks ago. We talked about that. So I didn't really look at that yet. PayPal, we said that we would look to see if it could build a base down here somewhere in and around this level. So right now it's trying to do exactly that. We are still short again on, we'll take some longs here if we can. We'll just punch some 80s there. What did we get, 80s? Okay, on this PayPal. We are still short Tesla. That was one of our big plays. Still really paying off here for that downside play. So let's do that. There's the punch in immediately on PayPal. And guess what? It's a quick one. It's a quick 19 cents up there. We just got a 97 fill on NASDAQ. So once again, there's a quick 2 for 2, quick 19 cents. We're only out of 20% of it. So it could go the other way right there. But here we go, man. It's going to be hopefully a nice move back to the upside. And there it is, man. Exactly as we wrote down. We wanted to wait for PayPal. So here it goes. Nice move, PayPal, up to 05s. Maybe we can get going even a little bit more now. This is the difference in why we're scalping machines over here, is that when it goes up, you have the ability to quickly get in and out of shares. So there it is again. Boom. We'll capture 25 quick cents right there because we've been on one lately, and we're going to see if we can continue that here today. So let's go. What's up, Chef Joe? What's up to everybody in the chat? This is Real Trading, baby, the #1 sponsor on the show and what we're trying to show everybody.
Exactly. Every single day. That's what it's all about. I'm waiting for 70s on this bad boy. I actually wrote on my note this morning, if PayPal can hold above 68, its upside is 75 today, and it's got some higher lows. I thought we'd get some SoFi in here at 650, but it looks like it's making a bit of an SSR bounce already. Once it's got a higher low, holding in here, I want to see some support, and then I probably jump into the long on that bad boy. So I'm in one time on PayPal. It made that bottom, held the low. I'll take another shot at it off that double bottom if I can even get it, but I'm waiting until VWAP because if I'm risking 70 cents, I got to take 70 cents or it doesn't make sense on the first out. AMD, which was different from NVIDIA, and then NVIDIA was a short to pop. AMD didn't give me that opportunity. Took the breakdown. I got the first 50 cents, and then we stopped out for 25 cents. So now starting to look a little bit strong. Jumping back over to NVIDIA, which we were just mentioning, it's right back at the 880, but higher lows. Higher lows, higher highs, which means wait for the 885 level. So if it gets to 885, that is the next level for myself. Tesla probably going to have to pre-market highs in here, 191, and then 195. 200's like the Alamo for me on Tesla, where I know I want that one to the south side. So I think I'm probably going to get SoFi next, that SSR bounce play coming into effect.
All right. Yeah, SoFi, wow. We really like SoFi, but it's a dangerous position there, breaking through that 7. We'll have a look at SoFi as well in a couple minutes. So we just reshorted Tesla, obviously, as it came through 190 again. So, you know, we like this short. You know, the market's well up, but there's another short put on by us there, and it's printing backside now into the money one more time here. So far, so good here for this, but we still have lower hopes. I just put a bid down there at 189, see if we can capture some of that. That would be pretty nice if we could get that. I mean, I put too many shares. I want less, so we'll put a bid down there at 1. There it is. So there's another short for you on Tesla off of 190 that we just took. It's 50 cents in the money if you want that. Now I'm going to wait for a little bit lower as we'll see what happens. Yeah, PayPal, this is why we talked about scalping in and out of that one. We still do have 60% of this trade, so I still like it. Hopefully we can get a little lower here on PayPal and really make some cash on this one, but so far so good. I mean, we've got in and out of it, so we're fine with it. Take some more shares if it sees fit down there below. And then, yeah, just Tesla trying to work it out. Other than that, man, I mean, Apple's making a move up, and that was a level that we liked up here in and around 175, but it's only 174, so we still have some room to go there. We'll hold on to this, man. We're 2 for 2. We're just going to wait to see. We've made like half of our goal for this time. But again, we've only been in 2 trades, and Tesla's not really doing a whole heck of a lot right now. So Apple's the strong name going to the upside. Oh my gosh, Rob, you are a savior.
Oh man, well, thank you very much. Manuel,
you,
for
Rob.
reminding us, Snapchat just broke that $15 level.
Yeah,
I
heard
did
that.
not have my alert set for that, which is that's a fail. We've been sort of mentioning this one the last couple of days. So the good news is it's still in the pocket. It's still here. I want to wet the beak. The market's flying. I want something under 10. This was one of those consolidation plays, regardless of whether it doesn't even matter news, anything like that. Big shortable, decent shortable interest, I should say. It's not gigantic, but a big level taken out there. I'm back into AMD. Thank you, Manuel. You know, I can set it. We have alerts in P per 8. I just didn't set one for that bad boy. So I got out of AMD. It curled off of VWAP, so I jumped back in underneath VWAP. I want to give it to 160.80. So we're still basically in the same names. NVIDIA is trying to test that 880 even level one more time.
What the heck?
So, look, I was pretty convinced on NVIDIA that the next step would be 885, but it looks like the original short level still looking like it's the brick wall on NVIDIA. Sorry about these wicks, but this top here is 881.5. So it's not really anywhere close to the 85 yet. I'm back into AMD. Snapchat's a new one, but one that we've been looking for all week long.
Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a shallower fill here on, we just got Chicago PMI, by the way, guys. Chicago PMI, Adara, 30, we just got Chicago PMI, 39, 37. Yeah, okay, fine. What's up, Adara?
Sorry, it's taking a while to populate on my end. Sorry for the wait there. We did just get that in. 37.9 for Chicago PMI. SPY here, a bit of a red candle forming right now. Not a huge reaction on the S&P 500. Apologies for the wait there. It was taking a while for that number to populate. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, so way under right there. 37.9 versus 44.9. So way under here on that Chicago PMI number as the market comes back in right there. So huge move to the downside. Not huge, but nice move to the downside for the market. Not really helping out too many of our positions. I mean, Tesla's still above this 190 and looks like it wants to stay there. So we're going to have to wait for that 191 to come in and then try to respect some of those 192 levels, get out if we're wrong on that, and then work with 195 if that is the top there. Have the ability to switch up your game, of course. And once again, I've failed it again. NVIDIA just goes right up to that 880 where we should have been short. So a failed opportunity there. Apple with a nice move up, but there's the pushback on the futures. So yeah, so far so good. Just kind of letting things settle down. We're out of the money here, 30 cents right now on Tesla. So I want to get more, but I was waiting at 191. Maybe we'll put something in and around 190.50 just because we don't have a huge position yet. But 191 is where we want to get some money in on Tesla.
Yeah, and there's already VWAP on SoFi. I'm going to back off the bid here because typically when I get that play, I'm looking to take outs to VWAP. So if I don't get the long off that wick and it's already there, I don't want to chase it any higher. It's not the right way to go about it. Snapchat is at 12s. I was putting a stop order in, and I put it in the wrong spot, just got right back into the same price. But effectively, I was long 9, so think of it as 9s, because it's just in and out at the same price. I'm looking for quarters and 50s on Snapchat. $16 is also resistance in there, so you want to respect it. I'm not short again on NVIDIA. Obviously should be, but VWAP happened on AMD. We're back at it, 160.35. It just broke 160 even. I'll scalp the first 50 cents like we did last time, and then look for the rinse and repeat one more time there. The futures were screaming, and then you had that nice little pullback at 9:45.
Yeah, here we go, guys. Bang, 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 bang. There's our 191 short on Tesla. So there it goes, man. We will take profit immédiatement on that one as we go to the downside right now. So good trade for Tesla. Wow, we were just like, let's take that 191, and we did that. And now we are again another couple dollars here in the money. Let's put it out. This is a big trade. Like, we got more shares there because we got that fill. So let's see if we can start cashing a little bit out here on the downside for Tesla. We just bid some 71s. Let's punch out a little bit there at 90 and see if we can't fade some more. What's up, A?
AGBA, this small cap trying to run again. This company, they announced initially their merger with Triller a couple weeks ago, this one leading to the upside. Now providing some updates on what that merger with Triller is going to entail, basically saying that it's going to work on fast emerging opportunities in a favorable market environment, talking about marketing strategies, basically just highlighting some of the developments of that merger. AGBA, nice move to the upside, guys.
This Agba making some power moves. Look, right off of VWAP here on AMD, the curl happened on NVIDIA, you missed it, went right over to AMD and was able to get this one off VWAP for the quick scalp trade. So as long as NVIDIA holds underneath 880, AMD's weaker in some sense because AMD is beneath its pre-market breakdown. So I like it. We are into that Snapchat. I'll get to... I got one profit take on PayPal there, but it's right back underneath 69. I'll get to that in a second. But the quarters just came in on Snapchat. So power up, and thank you, Manuel, for reminding me about this. I mean, we like this one all week. We love earnings levels that get broken out. Like Roku would be nice if it could break 63. It'd be a very similar play. So we like the short in AMD. We'll see if we can get back into it. PayPal is still threatening downside. It made that bounce, showed me a higher low, so I added, and then scalped it out, but it cannot seem to get to 70. This isn't under threat of breaking this bottom, and then I gotta wait for another level to trade off of on PayPal. Do not want to get too greedy. Not greedy is not the right word. Too far out of the pocket on PayPal. It is trend down, and we gotta be patient. If it's not giving us the levels and the moves that we want, then we can back off and look for something else. Hasn't happened just yet. So far, so good.
Yeah, so far so good. This has been, again, another great day. I want to thank everybody for watching and continuously supporting the show and everything that we do here. I mean, this Tesla is an absolute cash register for us here again today. We talked about this yesterday being the long for us, and then now today it's just a short. And we built up that case for everybody, I felt like. And it's just been hit over and over and over again, and it's just an absolute monster right now. PayPal's absolutely falling down right now, so I don't know what's going on with this name other than it's Crank City back into 68, 67, so we're going to have to address this. But Tesla is an absolute monster right now here today for me. Another $2. We just reloaded that off 191 there, down into 189.50. Tesla, Neil, today has been an absolute monster.
Yeah, and that's the key. As long as you have those key levels in there, and you have to show some patience with it, because in some ways it's actually strong. And the same thing with NVIDIA. NVIDIA is stronger than the overall market right now. Like, I liked it, and it was an easy short trade, but that doesn't necessarily mean, like, here's what I'm talking about, just to finish that thought. NVIDIA, these wicks on this one as well, it's higher lows on NVIDIA trending up. So AMD's good because it's underneath VWAP and trending down, like lower highs, like you. But this is a strong name. So even though the short worked out, you had to wait for the key price because everything else looks like it's a trend to the upside. So I'm going to stick with AMD. It feels a little bit safer is not the right word. It's just the thesis on it is now better. I like them both short, but one of these things is not like the other. Under VWAP and lower highs versus higher lows on NVIDIA. So I might have gone 1 for 1 on NVIDIA. But it's AMD that I'm going back to the well with. And then PayPal. Remember I said I'm just going to stop out if it breaks that low, look for another level? Well, it held pre-market lows just there. So get out, save yourself that coinage, and if you still like the long, go back into it when it makes a new bottom. So that's going to be my strategy for PayPal. I still want to favor longs, but I don't want to get too far out of the pocket, like I said. Let's go back to the desk. Adara.
Norfolk Southern to the downside here amidst some ongoing updates with its proxy fight. Yesterday, some recommendations made for the people trying to run for proxy, so basically against the board itself, against Norfolk Southern, and for Ancora's director candidates. Now ISS, another proxy firm, coming out and saying that they also recommend voting for Ancora. So shows of support against Norfolk Southern in that ongoing NSC proxy battle, guys.
Doing it again right now as we go. There it is, another $2 on NVIDIA. We did short that top. We did get some out. We are long PayPal. We are short Apple. Holy crap, we got a lot on our plate right now. This is the most important time to trade, 10 o'clock, and I got 4 positions, of which 1 is a monster in NVIDIA. So let's go, NVIDIA. Get to the downside. We happy with that. Look at that discipline on PayPal. PayPal comes all the way back up. We're still in it. It didn't. We were waiting for 67s. This was an L. It is going to be an L, but we did pretty good getting something out there on 68, but the market is bouncing upside a little bit right here. Let's cash something out if we can there. We'll take a 12 right there and see what we can do with that one. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, and honestly, Neil, you better take this over. I have way too much heat over here.
Yeah, the heat's on, but I'm back into AMD, and it's the heat's the other direction for this stock. It's just reloaded underneath VWAP every chance you get. So haven't had to really fight this one off these levels. I want to get more out off this bid.
Running it
PayPal's still trending. I was able to get that PayPal exit the last time off 68. So we had 67 happen, 68. We're scalping 50s every single chance we get. And I still like that VWAP, but you had to get out and then get back into it. Snapchat's still chilling. That's nice trend to the upside. It's double topped at 15.25. But I haven't added to it. I think VWAP and 15 even is where I'd want to buy the dip. Otherwise, we're going to stick to the plan. Wait for that 15.15 area. Sorry, 15.50 area. And just because we haven't talked about this, Alphabet, we already talked, well, you mentioned that you were up there on Apple, but Alphabet in some ways stronger. It's almost a full percent to the upside. 170 was support to resistance. If I like fade trades, I didn't think there was any chance you'd see the 170 level on Alphabet, but it could come into play here today. Yatube, I'm not trading SMCI today before earnings. It's not something I normally trade, and before earnings, I'm not sure it's something that I'd want to get into, but it is absolutely screaming to the upside, so be careful here. SMCI broken, never mind, it's well above 900. Wow, this is really starting to go. So keep an eye on those chip names. I'm into AMD, but you got to keep an eye on this SMCI running into earnings.
Yeah, we just took a whole bunch of outs there at 880. We're going to try one more time here on NVIDIA at this level at 880-150 or so. We just got another short. If this breaks 883, we're gone on this one. This is the one that was giving like issues because of how aggressively it filled, and then it just pulled right back, and all of a sudden, we talk about it, using a little more shares, looking down, seeing your P&L and taking advantage of that. We do that every single time. So let's wait to see what happens here with NVIDIA. Now we're more calm. We don't have a huge position. We've reloaded it. Let's see if it drops back in. We definitely have enough shares to make some money if this name can go. But the number one name by far today is, and it's not even close, it's Tesla. And that, again, is sticky note idea number one. Back-to-back days, different directions for that. As we're getting some excitement back there, as I hope that there's a few more people short with us here on NVIDIA, because this is a move that I'm looking for, that we've talked about in the pre-market right now, and we've got it back on. So good trade so far there for NVDA back to the downside, but there's still some room to go for that. Apple's one of our new positions. We wanted 175 short. We're going to wait to see if that goes. What's up, Brad Gober or Goober? Is Google going? I mean,
it is going.
I'm not in that name, so I know Neil just talked about it. I am loving some Google. This is my number one holding in the LTP long-term portfolio right there. Look at that. We just missed a dip buy in PayPal, but that's too bad. Nice move back up to the upside there for PayPal, back through 68. It was just at 68.20 right now. So, you know, NVIDIA is the name that we have the lottery ticket on right now. I mean, either it breaks that 883 and we're out of it, or it's a lottery. And it just was 779 and we didn't take it. So let's see what happens here. I feel pretty comfortable with it. Tesla's doing what we thought, so let's just continue to have some fun here.
Yeah, it's right back in. I got out of PayPal there when it made that fresh low at 67.5. So we got out after the scalp trade. It's right back to the same level.
Down there.
I'm going to take another shot. Every single time there's a wick bottom, I'm looking for entries off this long, but I'm trying to stay, I mean, discipline's the right word on this. So wick at that bottom, that's 67.20. I'm going to set my stop for 67.20 or just underneath that and sort of respect the downward trend that it has on. NVIDIA is now at my level. So I'm into that one. Oh, pre-market highs on AMD also about to break. I already have a stop for NVIDIA above 85.5. So 885, I should say. So it looks like it just broke it. We do like this one, but man, is it looking relatively strong. If it's a fail break at 885, I'll try to catch it on the way back down. But I traded 880 and then sat it out till it got to 885, and then the 885 immediately got taken out to set upside. So big, strong move over there in NVIDIA, but you'll see me in and out there pretty darn quickly, waiting for that level.
All right, wow. Tesla is really taking off. Sorry, starting to go to the downside right there. We just did capture a nice little win, though. We lost on NVIDIA as well, but we're short NVIDIA now. But let's just wait to see what happens. Look at this Apple trade. We didn't get enough short. We were waiting at 174.80. That's generally where we'll wait. It went to 75 and stopped. So far, so good on that one, but we would like a little lower to go there. Not much else, man. It's Apple. We're waiting to see this. NVIDIA is now nicely in the money, so let's spin that one as we shorted that 885 as well. Now let's see where we go. Takes them out at 884. Now we'll wait to see where the bottom is on NVIDIA, but the market has been very strong, trying to hold above VWAP. A couple dip buys into it. Now trying to retrace downside a little bit, which is making our nets sing, sing, sing. This is your #1 trade from the sticky note today. I hope you guys are short with me here on Tesla. It's been an absolute monster. Like without this, we'd still be fine, but this has really been a good one. We do have numbers at 10 o'clock, desk with Adara.
We're just waiting for that CB consumer confidence to come in here at 10 a.m. We already got Chicago PMI at 9:45 coming in slightly lower than the forecast and expectation here. So 37.9 versus consensus 45 and forecast of 44. As we're waiting for that number, let's see what we're doing right here in the market. We did have a slight move up here on the SPY, and we do actually have that consumer confidence number here coming in at 97 is what I'm seeing. So see if it populates over here. But as we wait for that, we can take a look at some of the other names making moves here. Eli Lilly up over 7%, providing higher than expected guidance. Slight sales miss, but EPS beat. We also have here Paramount on watch with earnings currently down about 2%. Kind of a mixed report here, and they did announce that resignation of CEO Bob Bakish. So let's see this number here coming in. Sorry about that. For 97 for the CB consumer confidence. That's lower than the expectation here, guys.
So
That was the best update ever.
that was good timing, but so far only half good. So I was in and out
Apple's
of
going, everything's
I was
going.
I was in and out of Nvidia on that wick. It then held the high. I came back in at literally 99s. I took the break back down 885 and got 884.99, which I think is hilarious because usually that's a fill you don't get on the way back in. You get like 80s or something like that. I was able to scalp some out for the first dollar, and now it's holding the highs. My next bid's at 881, and then VWAP would be 78. So Nvidia is showing signs of strength. The only two things I'm in are short Nvidia and long Snapchat, which, by the way, Snapchat, it's now cresting at this same high. I'm going to take some profit again. That's a triple top. These quarters, I said quarters are a bit of a level. I'm going to get some out there. But there goes Nvidia. We took the shot at it like multiple times here. It'll be closer. I'm slightly down on it because we've taken 3 shots and gone 1 for 3. But adhering to the stop, there's only so much that I'm fighting this stock at the end of the day. Like, I like the level, but you're seeing it trend back into the upside. Like, I don't want to put too much damage on the other end. Suddenly, I'm only in 1 long, and it's Snapchat because PayPal didn't give me that reload on 67.5. It's now back above the 68 level. So I do want to be long PayPal. 68 is holding, but each time it trended down, I was in and out, took my profit, and limited that hit. We're going to get back in above that 68 level as long as we can. But yeah, I'm not going to be fighting that NVIDIA now at 887. You know, I gave the shot at the 885 level, took the first short pop that we got, opportunity at the 880, but there's only so much I want to fight that stock when it starts going to the upside.
All right, we're short Apple right here at 85. We did get nervous because it did run up there to 175, but here it comes pulling back in for Apple. Hopefully this move will continue to get into the downside there off of, again, sticky note idea number 3 or something like that. 175 short for Apple. So we're in it. Let's just see if it works. We did take some outs there, 85, so on. But let's now see if we can get a downside push. I am bidding 74s and 65s, so maybe we can get a downside push. I do want to try a little bit more into that level, 175, 175.10 or so. I mean, it might not work, but here we go. It's starting to take some profit now. Short 85, we just got a 77 fill, so that was pretty good. And yeah, I mean, NVIDIA, like Neil was mentioning there, we were up on it, now we're down, as we just got stopped out at the high of the day at 888 pretty much. So we just gave up $5 for that one.
And it's right back down.
But yeah, that's
it is
okay.
what it is.
That's why we stick with our guns, man. I mean, we didn't even write down NVIDIA on here, but we tried it, and it's all good. But look what's happening with Tesla right now. This is a huge move in for this name. It just touched again 187.75. So as long as you got something right, then you're all right in my books. You know, at the end of the day, you want to be able to, you know, say that you're green and be able to, you know, have a good sort of trade-off. If you're going to look at multiple names, you want to know where to put the risk and, you know, sort of assess it like that. So like, look at Apple here, a huge trade idea for me, and now look what's happening to Apple. A nice fall back in. We're pretty loaded up on this position, and it's really, despite losing on NVIDIA, right, we are going to have quite a good morning here, hitting our goals now, and hitting a monster for Apple, a monster for Tesla, and PayPal is almost, guys, that dollar club off the bottom. So let's go back up to the upside. We're near our highest spot all day. Thank you, Apple. Thank you, Tesla. Thank you, PayPal. Ideas 1, 2, 3. What's up, A?
Keep an eye on Uber here. UBER announcing an exclusive delivery partnership with Domino's Pizza, DPZ, in Canada. So exclusive delivery partnership with Domino's in Canada. Keep an eye on UBER, guys.
Oh, Uber finally catching a little bit of a bid. Like to see that
175
there.
is better.
Happy with it. I'm right back at AMD. Remember we talked about the difference between AMD and Nvidia. Nvidia was making higher highs. AMD still hasn't broken out the pre-market top. It just wicked it. That's always an entry for me. It wicks that high, that lower high in there, 161.60. I got in underneath, already scalped 50 cents every single time, scalping the first 50 cents, and then going for that reload. Nvidia is still churning. And SMCI, by the way, that's actually pulling back. So I do think with this starting to pull back in front of earnings, the short's going to start to look a little bit better when these ones start to calm down just a little bit. SoFi's right back at that low. But remember I said I'm not taking it on the way back in till it shows me a bid because that first bounce into VWAP already happened.
Wow.
So now I need to see like a little bit of strength, a little bit of sideways, a little bit of consolidation, something along those lines, or we're not going to be getting back into that one. Snap, we took some profit when we saw that seller, again up at 15.25, so the 15 level holding pretty decently. I think we're kind of chilled out on Snapchat. There's plenty of room to the upside for Snap. That 15.50 level is more of a support to resistance level, and if it can break that, I think all systems would be a go on that one. Yeah, I see you there, Frank Jones. Coin is rolling to the downside, but it hasn't broken support at 210 just yet. So it's trending down, but 210 is still a big level for it to churn through. Oh, by the way, the 60,000 level coming in on Bitcoin. That's worth a look on IBIT, but my play for that is a false breakdown recovery long. Like I'm not looking short at 60,000. I'd be looking for like a false break and then try to go long on IBIT.
Oh, man. Just looking, guys, it's you guys can ask us any questions you want. It's been a good day, but hasn't been a super easy day. We're in 3 absolute monsters right now with PayPal coming through. What's up, Randy? We're doing it again over on this side. How you doing? Good. Good, man.
Coffee?
Looking good as usual. I would love a coffee.
I'll take one.
Rob brought one, but this is half, and it gets super cold over
Yeah,
here.
I'm done mine already.
See, this is the kind of like chilled out trading that we're trying to do these days. You know, we're having our best month in a long time. We're putting it on. Yesterday we're 5 for 5. Today we'll go 4 for 5, but we'll wait to see what happens here with NVIDIA. We'll see if we can get that money back. This is what it's all about, my guy. You know what I mean? Living the good life. Tonight we got baseball again. We've got hockey tonight. We've got the Maple Leafs coming through one more time. We've got earnings.
Hopefully not one more time.
They working me like a dog around here. We got the recap show coming up. Check out the podcast where we talked all about Eli Lilly. Let me see what Eli Lilly's doing. I haven't looked at that in a minute. Oh my gosh, right there. It's
another one.
So there it is, Eli Lilly with a nice move there today as well. Okay, so good out there for PayPal. We are at the highest spot we've been at. We're having the month that we want to have. It's been a real good one, man. We are Greensville today. Happy to go, man. And you could see just a brand new, chilled out style of trading, man. Find the winners, hit the winners, stay with the winners, and then at the end of the day, go home and enjoy the fruits of the labor. So, I mean, this is exactly what we're doing here right now. 450,000 subscribers is just around right now the corner, because I mean, look at this. If we're hitting it on the podcast, which we are right now, we're hitting it on the recap show, we're hitting it on the midday lessons, we're doing it all right now for everybody. And by the way, what about real trading? You want us to analyze the trades we've been in? Look at this. Apple with confidence, 175 short. How did we know that? Right, there's the sticky note right there. NVIDIA, play it off the 880, get out when you're wrong, take hits, all good. PayPal, buy these dips, man. We wanted that 168. It's at 168, just 169.
If it goes to 168.
Then we have Tesla, the other biggest and the baddest trade. Yesterday it was Tesla. Today it's Tesla. Tomorrow it's... who knows, but I'll be here, and
AMD.
we will discuss that. Yeah, what was your biggest trade with most confidence today, Neil?
The one that I wanted the most was PayPal, but I have a different set of rules.
No, I'm saying with your rules, what was your biggest trade today?
My biggest opportunity trade was probably going to be NVIDIA in terms of opportunity cost.
Yeah, I like
But
that.
in terms of, look, I love PayPal, but it continues to break down. If a stock's trending down, I don't expect to be up to it because I'm getting out. I'm getting out. Like I have an out on the stock, it's when it makes a fresh low in front of my level. So for me, I'd rather take small hits on it and take the opportunity. NVIDIA, I had the first $3 move down and gave it back shorting the 885. That was the biggest opportunity trade for me, but it didn't work. But I'm not gonna short. It could come down to 875 and you're like, yeah, if you held on to it, if you just continue to average into it, it's gonna eventually work out. But everyone has to have their own style. For myself, you guys watch me, every single time I get into a trade, you know where I'm getting out. And if I haven't said it, you can probably guess it if you've been watching this over and over again. So everyone has to trade their own style in their own book. If you wanna be like leveraging and averaging into a trade, make sure you have a stop somewhere. Because if you don't, then you're gonna run yourself into trouble. So I'm really at the end of the day, everyone's just gotta do their own thing. The only thing I'm still in is gonna be Snapchat. That was that $15 break. And with the market starting to come back, it's about finding that opportunity to jump back into some trades. Barry, I do see oil is moving, but we don't really look at the commodities unless there's like a specific play. Like Chevron, XOM at some pretty key levels, but I'm not really looking at that commodity. We appreciate you. Thanks, Rise and Shine. We're just here to give you our ideas. And thank you very much, Randy, for the coffee. It is much needed today. And Prince, at the end of the day, I always say this to traders, like if you can't explain your trade before you put it on, then you don't have a trade, you have a gamble. Like your trade should have an execution plan with it. And if your execution plan doesn't include, this is where I'm getting out, then you don't really have a trade plan. So regardless of how it goes, you just want to be able to stick to your plan, whatever it might be. Speaking of plans, the SSR bounce play that I like on SoFi, it just put in a higher low now. So this was my plan of action. SoFi in front of $6.50. It's down over 10% yesterday, so it's short sell restricted today. It made one wick into VWAP. I'm not gonna chase that long into VWAP. I wanna see a higher low. It just put in a higher low now. If we can come to the chart, Fabian. It just put in a higher low now. So this is the first chance, I think, to be able to get into it off said higher low. So I'm gonna pop on the midpoint. I might take some at 67 and pop the rest on the midpoint and see if I can get that. The thing with, it's done 35 million shares, so there's a good chance I can get like a bats mid for some 66s in here. And then I'll give it to this local high. So we waited for the bounce. It's now starting to bounce. Give it to that lower high, 662.
Oh my God, PayPal. Who would have thought this? Oh yeah, that's right. How about that? All right, I mean, guys, honestly, what a day, and thanks for Neil for explaining all that. I mean, this is exactly what it's about, man. If you put in the work, and you can come in, and then this is what can happen. Like, we looked at PayPal. We're trading off catalysts. This is a monster move. This is $1.50 now in the money on PayPal, right? Again, our level is $68. It's right there. We're long 67.70. Gave us that gift. And I actually missed a bid down there. I thought I did have a bid, but it canceled the bids once we got hit out, or once we started taking some outs there. But this is another positive name. Tesla, by the way, Patrick, Neil, everybody around here, we are now bearish on Tesla. And we stated that off the open, that we were very, very bearish this name. We talked about it with confidence. We gave this our very first trade idea of the day. We wrote down bearish right here. We said, Patrick just looked over to me and said 191 short. What is going on? We wrote it down, 191 short. We said we thought it could cool off a little bit here today. So cooling off, I mean, you want to talk about a cooling off period. I mean, you know, this is what's happening right now for Tesla. We are getting cooled off right now, and it's creating a great, sick, wicked, and nasty trading opportunity. Shout out to Jack Armstrong or Chuck Swirsky or whoever says that.
Oh, yeah.
Big time movements to the downside right now with all of this. So shout out to Kevin Mendoza. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to Swamp King, less Sean, more Neil. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of Neil, guys. I'm hoping that you can take it over.
Tell you the good news?
And then what?
My daughter has decided to push swimming to the background.
Oh no, that's not good news.
Well, no, because she was going to do half baseball and swimming were the same day for my daughter.
Right.
She had said, I'm going to do swimming on half the days and baseball on the other half.
Right,
I'm like,
perfect.
So I'm a big baseball fan, but I'm not pushing her into something. Mm-hmm. And then she recently said, after we saw Otani this weekend, she wants to only play baseball. It's a sunk cost of swimming, but she's going to be playing baseball every single week. So I can't coach, but I can assistant coach, but because it's too late. But I'm happy. I didn't want to push
do multiple sports.
No, I wanted to do multiple sports,
Yeah,
but I
she
wasn't
will.
going to push her in one direction or another. But she made the choice on her own that she wanted to focus on baseball. Obviously, if swimming had been on a Thursday, that'd be great. We still have gymnastics and whatnot.
Oh, you still got gymnastics? Okay.
And maybe we can. I don't know if it's too late to put her in soccer or something on a different day, but yeah, I'm a
No,
baseball
that's great,
fan,
man.
I'm
That's
happy with it. I know you're a baseball. You like coaching baseball too.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, my daughter was up at 5:30 playing hockey. Tonight she's got baseball.
Exactly.
Then she has swimming on Fridays.
Swimming's
3 or 4 different things, each kid of mine. But
I like
that
swimming
we're
'cause
insane.
it's a good skill to learn. I think it's
we're
important. We go camping all the time. I just think it's important if something you can handle yourself.
I want my kids to get a job because I've always thought about a wicked summer job is working for those city pools or a private pool where you're just a lifeguard. Like even though my kids are young, they almost have their certifications.
In high school, remember?
Yeah, it's such a sick job.
One of my.
You just get to sit there and watch everything.
I knew a few lifeguards, and it is a pretty good job. And what's the water park we used to go to?
Oh, there's Wild Water Kingdom.
That's the
but
one.
That's called something else now.
No, we had a friend that worked at the
I
water park.
want them to work for the city.
Dude, the best job at Canada's Wonderland
Yes.
was not working on rides. Rides was fun, but if you worked the water park, that was legit.
Yeah.
But I couldn't.
But get her back into swimming, man, for sure.
No, she's gonna still swim. It's just not this summer. She's in it right now. I'm into the newest trade is SoFi. I got 66. My price is 66.5. It just rounds up. I said I would get some bats midpoint. I did get filled mostly on a bats mid, so I'm gonna get some out in front of VWAP and then hold for a potential break. Snapchat's still chilling. NVIDIA. Look, I don't think NVIDIA's story is over. It bounced off VWAP, but we might get another shot at 885. I don't want to put that to pasture just yet. But I have to wait for the 885 level. It does look like a good one. Blake just said Baba. I'll confess to not looking at Alibaba today.
Nothing wrong with confessing that.
Yeah, you know what? Baba's still not breaking out. I'd love for this to make a higher low off the 50 period, and we're still waiting for it to break out at 78. So we're not going to diddle in the middle here. It needs to take out the top. Dips look like 73.5 to 74. Nothing doing for Alibaba. I'll look at Alibaba anytime you tell me it's moving, because I like that stock. And I think it's got a huge rally in it eventually. It's just not yet, apparently.
All right. I mean, I could review the trades. I mean, every single trade that we have on today has hit our levels. So we talk about having trade plans, having ins, having outs. I mean, Apple hits our level at 175. It pulls down. We just take a bid there at 30s. So, I mean, that's working so far. So I'm happy with that trade. NVIDIA, not happy because we got out, but still happy about the levels. I feel like we will be getting back into this one. Let it get back up into that 890 area. PayPal is one of the best trades here for sure, I feel like. So we'll go bang on PayPal. Now in the money at $1.70. It did take a lot to try to hold on to this name, but we did, and it paid off. So like we were saying, man, at the end of the day, you can look down and see what your numbers are. I would have liked to made more money on PayPal, obviously. And I don't think I traded it incorrectly. I did miss a bid down here. I thought I had a bid, did not. We were going to use 67. I mean, it came down. If you look at a 20-minute chart here, it came right into this level. And that, I mean, you could have guessed, I guess, 67.50, 67.40. That's where I thought I was bidding. It's luckily that it came back and we're able to get a little bit more long where we are now, 67.70. But at the end of the day, those were some decent levels there. And we're pretty lucky to have it hold. And we always say that, man, fortune favors the bold there today. So, you know, in what's been a pretty good day, you know, we're not shouting anybody out there, but there's 3 or 4 positive traders today on the floor, and I want to say a big shout out to them. So congratulations to all the positive traders there today. Yeah, and it's been a good one, man. I mean, not much else.
Mullen's halted here.
Mullen's halted. Okay, so I mean, you go ahead and take that.
Look, I liked Mullen yesterday more than I like it today, because I felt like it was a really good upward trending stock on day one, and day two it's been mostly sell side, but it just held $6 for what it's worth. It dipped right into its previous close. That's not the close. The close is in here. So it closed at like, no, 70s. Okay, it closed at more like up here. So it closed into there, bounced exactly off the previous close price, and is now halted up. If this can take out the top, it's still got some room to rally. It's, you know, through the 560 area, still some room to rally. If it gets to $10, I feel like that's a little bit much, but to each their own. The current tap is nothing. It's 94 halts, $7 is the current tap. Remember, that theoretical auction price matters a heck of a lot more once it's seconds before the reopen. So SoFi is the newest position for me. Snapchat's still in it. Let's go to Adara for the small cap recap, where we'll probably talk some Mullen again.
Mullen is not on my small cap recap list today. We have a couple other new names running today, but MULN, of course, very strong in a day two move. IWM itself outperforming the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 right now, up about 0.7%. So nice look here for the Russell 2000 and these small caps. A couple of penny stocks with catalysts on watch here today, including ACLI, AKLI. This one trading higher after announcing that Shinogi has canceled and forgiven a $5 million long-term debt agreement and agreed to make certain payments for one of Alkali's drug or digital treatments. Also, the company announced that it will be reducing its workforce by 46%. So some layoff-related news here and debt forgiveness for AKLI. We also have Dare Bioscience, DARE, this one also to the upside, and another penny stock on the move here, securing $22 million in non-dilutive strategic royalty financing for its women's health product. And last but not least, AGBA Group, this one continuing from a couple weeks ago, announcing its merger with Triller, now providing some updates for that merger. AGBA once again to the upside, guys.
Okay there. So we're, you know, didn't have to double talk Mullen, but NVIDIA just made another lower high off of 885. So it looks like, you know, forget about that top in there. Looks like the 885 is going to be back into said pocket. Could be a weak one. I'm going to go back over to Intel for a quick second. We were in this one, consolidation to the pre-market low. It broke that top. We get out of it. It actually held VWAP, which usually is a second trade for me off the open. I'll probably jump back into it, but that's been a pretty standard setup for me. In, out, adhere to it. Still looking like it could be trend down. So I might back into VWAP here, which is 31.15 on Intel. NVIDIA coming back to that 885 level. Google was the other big one that we didn't really mention. Well, we mentioned it and then didn't really go back to it. It's no longer holding VWAP, which in terms of strength, I'm more interested if on a pullback it's going to hold on to VWAP there for the stair step to the upside. I'll revisit that one if it can get back above 167 and hold any kind of a bid. The one I do still like, and for myself, trended down every single time, like there's the out, there's the out. But if PayPal can start to hold VWAP, then I'll look for another re-entry back into 69. So we'll take multiple shots in this. I still think there's room to 75 on this, as long as it can break through that 70 level, hold on to VWAP here. The trend is your friend until the end. And was trending down. Now you have a reversal of trend back through VWAP on PYPL. The market itself isn't really doing much after that number. Like we flushed, came right back to where we were, and have hung out where we were for most of the pre-market and overnight, which was 17.86 to 17.89. That 30 handle range is where we're sitting for the last 15, 20 minutes now. So you gotta be patient. If the market's not gonna move, you gotta be specific to your entries and your setups.
Yeah, I'm just writing a tweet here for this because we're going to go now with PayPal doing this, man. We're going to go 3 for 3 today with the sticky note ideas because there it is right up there back into $70. Like that's a $2 winner there. The most you would have had to hold this thing against you was 50 cents. So far, so good here for the PayPal trade off of the sticky note. So far, so good. We'll send some clips out on that one. Tesla as well, I mean, off that 191. I mean, yeah, this is exactly as we wrote that one down. Good move. I'm still holding a piece. We did get something out there at the bottom of the day again, but remember we said we're only going short. So that's something like we keep saying that has really changed, you know, how I operate is trying to find very, very specific setups. So if there is any questions or comments you guys have for me in the chat, please place them in there and I will do my best to answer every single one for you as long as we are, you know, capable of doing that. We'll do that. So let me know if there's any stocks you want me to look at. I will be shorting NVIDIA again. This is the only stock we're red on today is NVIDIA, but you know, it's okay. It sucks to be red on a name, of course, but you know, yesterday we were lucky enough to go that 5 for 5, but today a little tougher here as we just took that. We were up on NVIDIA, and I feel like we traded. It's crazy that these are all shorts and where we are, but it's that last trade that we got out on. That was the problem right there. We have the high of the day. So I get asked all the time, like, how do you have the lows? How do you have the highs? Well, there we go. There's me getting stopped out. We got stopped out at 888 or 887.50 there, and then the very next minute, it was at 882. So we just got stopped out at $5. A minute later, it's a $5 winner, and we're taking early vacation. But what are you going to do as that name comes out? Like we say, we follow our rules. And it's the rules that have led us down the path that we've had this month and our whole career, basically. So, you know, we'll do that. I'll look to the chat. I'm going to get this tweet out for all the Sticky Note followers, and then we'll work on finding some more opportunities, and I'll address everybody in the chat.
And that's what it's all about. Like we always talk, someone in the chat just said, you know, they got out of their PayPal, but like you have to have your own set of trading rules, levels, and all that kind of good stuff. There were opportunities to get back in. I think there were multiple shots at it. I mentioned that Alphabet couldn't hold on to VWAP. Well, this one can, and that's Meta. Meta showing signs. I always look for at 10 o'clock, or sorry, past 10 o'clock, you're in something that's working, you're looking for specific things to happen. Snapchat, if it can hold 69, but I want to see what's trending that we can move over to follow the trend. Well, you're getting higher lows on Meta. Sorry about that, Wick. I'll get rid of it when I get a chance. But VWAP holding at 433. You can see it stair step up. It's challenging 436. The 15 minutes going to look a little bit better for us here. So look at the nice support at the 430 level and no red candles on this 30. Well, I moved to a 30 minute and didn't put it back to a 15. So no red candles on the 30 minute, but it doesn't really matter. I like to trend up on Meta. It has to hold on to VWAP first. And as I said on PayPal, we'd be patient. Let's see if it can hang on to VWAP. It just made a move to 70, pull back underneath VWAP. It's wicked 69. If it can reclaim and put in a higher low, that'll be my entry spot. But I'm not going to force the action on that. SoFi is still kind of chilling out here, looking for another press into VWAP. I want to hold about a quarter through this 680 level, or sorry, this 677 level that it's put in an early top on, and then pre-market bottoms would be the out after that. So just trying to stay patient. You're starting to roll underneath on NVIDIA, which means I should be looking for another chip short. Intel, not really setting up VWAP for me. Micron.
Oh, man.
Micron's actually strong. Stay away from that one. Micron's pretty strong. I'm going to stay away from that one. But NVIDIA's weak.
I just think it looks bad.
That said, it ran all the way to 888 when I was short that 885. Like we took a couple of shots at it at that level, didn't work out. Now we'll look for a trend down. Might be a VWAP play. You can always try short underneath VWAP when this happens on NVDA. AMD also a possibility, but it's nowhere near our levels. Like each time we're scalping short and then going 1-to-1 on the out. It's underneath VWAP as well, but I feel like there's a better chance for a bigger trade in NVIDIA than there is AMD, at least based on this price action.
All right. Yeah. All right. Someone, again, not too many questions there. We had some questions about Meta. coming through as well, so we can have a quick look at Meta. I mean, Tesla right now is fading pretty hard into 187, so I mean, a good little drop down in here. We do have some services revenue or something out at 10:30. Let me just find it on our watch list. You can find that out. Actually, it's not listed on our watch list, so it must not be a major number. I just heard it in my ear from Benzinga. But right now, man, we've got we're going to go to a dare, but a 1, a 2, a 3, a $4 winner off the posted sticky note level right there. So if you're going to have one trade today, I hope you have them all, but if you're going to have one, it would be Tesla as well as Apple. Those two shorts were amazing. Those two longs were amazing. Early, Tesla printing late, Apple working late, PayPal trying to fade out a little bit, Mullen back open near $7. What's up,
And Eli Lilly here. I have Novo Nordisk up here, NVO. So you can see here we did have that volume spike to the downside. Wall Street Journal reported a couple of minutes ago here that the FTC is now targeting patent listings on Ozempic and other similar drugs as it moves, basically sees drug makers' patent efforts as an attempt to delay competition from generic drugs. So now the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, going after some of these weight loss drugs. So NVO, LLY, absolutely on watch here, guys.
Oh, ARM. Yeah. Oh, yeah. ARM 105.
Oh, ARM was 105 right now?
No.
That's all we wanted.
It was 105, but it's back underneath.
Come on, Sean.
This is failing a breakout as well. Oh, that's a good fail break. This is 103.5. I mean, only you can do is make the next trade. It would go green to red underneath 103.25. As Nvidia's at 875, so right now, unless I get Intel going up 10 to 15 cents, I'm looking for a chip short. Micron looks strong, so I'm going to stay away from them. VWAP on ARM looks probably like the best bet in here, because look at NVIDIA. I mean, the thing about it is, like, okay, obviously 885 in hindsight is going to be the one, but you always have to find that perfect entry point and exit strategy for your trade. Now all we can do is make the next trade. If it's trend down, we'll work back into VWAP here to short it into 880.
Tesla.
But let's go crypto update, Adara.
Lots of earnings reports this week for crypto-related names. We got the first one yesterday, MicroStrategy, MSTR. They did miss on sales, 115.2 million versus 121.725 million expected. And they did report a larger loss per share than expected as well. But also worth noting here, they do now have $13.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's about 1% of the total circulating supply, according to analysts from Canaccord Genuity, which also maintained its buy rating on the stock, but raised its lowered its price target from $18.10 to $15.90. So a bit of a lower price target despite a bullish overall outlook from Canaccord Genuity on MSTR after those earnings. We also have Riot Platforms, RIOT, reporting tonight. And on Thursday after close, we have Coinbase, COIN. So stay tuned for these crypto-related earnings. Bitcoin itself here, a bit to the downside on the day, cracking below that 61 area quite swiftly and taking out some of these earlier smaller losses we made throughout the last couple of days and taking out all of yesterday's gain entirely, coming now to rest near that earlier base of around that 60,000 levels. This is certainly going to be an interesting point for Bitcoin, also an interesting point for a lot of these other cryptocurrencies. BTC down 3% just below that 6,100 area. 61,000 area, sorry. Ethereum bouncing a bit here off that 3,000 level, which we did briefly break below, down about 5%. Everything else pretty much weak here across the board. BNB down 4.5%. Dogecoin down almost 6%. Cardano down almost 6%. Weak day for cryptocurrencies, guys.
Yeah, it's looking nasty, but the 60,000 has held. I was looking for a false breakdown at 60,000. Obviously, we're going to have to wait for that. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm sorry, I was just getting rid of those wicks on NVIDIA so the chart looks a little bit easier for everybody to read, including myself. Back in the video, you want to be able to sort of see the levels and make it a little bit more clear. So if you're trading, look, if you happen to be trading with real trading, like you can right-click. I know those are dark pool wicks at 8 o'clock. You can right-click them and then just edit those wicks out because clearly they're just overnight movements. So NVIDIA is getting back into VWAP. That sits at 79. I like the 880 level there. There's your, it's not top wick, but effectively, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that we had on NVIDIA, but it doesn't mean I'm going to shy away from looking for a VWAP curl to the downside. So it's kind of like a head and shoulders pattern if you're into that. Press into 880, look for the shorts, money fills probably at 880 above VWAP, and then look for the rest The market is still looking relatively weak. We're 0.4 down. NVIDIA just went red. It's more the reversal. When NVIDIA false breaks out, if it holds VWAP, we usually see the low of the day again, at least recently on the same. Snapchat, it's right back in. I'm bidding 15s. Okay, that's why. It's bouncing off 15.05. I was bidding in front of 15 even, so no refill there. But that's twice it's now held VWAP. I'm going to get on the 06s for a reload in front of VWAP, and then if it gets back to the quarters, we'll kind of rinse and repeat that same trade from before. But I feel as if it's NVIDIA. I mean, Snapchat will probably fill me first because it's like 2 cents away, but NVIDIA is the one I want. We like the short on it. We're going to try and get back in. Sometimes you've got to be able to short a different level. If it's trend down, you can't always wait for the high of the day to get your short trade. If it trends down the rest of the day and I get 0 shorts on it, then I'm doing it wrong.
Tesla right now, still $5, still going a little bit lower. For Tesla. All right. A name that I want to start to be buying in the long-term account because we were lucky enough to sell this at 8. It didn't get to 8. At 480 and change, Meta. So again, you know, you can be, yeah, see? So I haven't had a bad wick in a long time, but there's one again on Meta. All right, so you know, a name that, and what I was getting at is like you can say, you know what, like I sold this name or that name or whatever, but I'm still in it. So why are you selling it? Well, to raise cash so that if something like this were to happen, you're able to maybe still get into the same name, but maybe get in at a much more attractive price. So right now, Meta is off of its 3rd day. We had a bad first day. Second day, you know, nice little bump up into 445, 450-ish. Then now 2 straight down days, and now we're looking to see about holding. It's not the absolute bottom. I mean, we did wick lower there in the pre-market down to that 415 area on day 1 of earnings. But we did hold inside of here where we are right now, 430 and change. So if we drop this, I think it's going to be an absolute monster of a day trade opportunity. But as far as like, I'll hit it short. Might even happen today. But I think this is also a good opportunity to buy some more shares. So we'll be waiting to pick up some more down here. Look, man, we'll trim $50, so that's 12%. If we can make 12% on a name and still own it, you know, that's pretty good. So we'll see if we can do that down here on Meta. But again, I don't want to buy it back today and then we have tomorrow with Apple and then an AMD give up or something like that, and then we're a lot lower than where we are. So let's wait on that. But I do like Meta to dip buy opportunities. It's up today against a market that is down. So build back Meta plan. I like that one there, Hamster one. As build you go back end of that one. I wanted to, because it was a build back better there. We did get a dump in Nucor as well off earnings, but they're nicely back. Well, not nicely back, but they were down into here, 171 back to 175. So this could be a name that we add again into our portfolio. We still have some of these stocks. I own a lot of names, but you know, back into this level, 165, probably pretty good for the steel maker. So we'll wait to see what happens with Nucor there as well. Tesla's trying to make its way back. I think we'll just use the 50 period, so about a 188. This stop had 50 cents associated to it. So the fact that it went almost 10 to 1 is pretty good risk to reward. So we'll wait to see if we can get some more action on this name. That's Tesla, hopefully dropping even lower right now. Still $4 in the money, $1 with PayPal, $4 with Tesla, and a possible reload zone now for Apple. But Apple's been real strong today. Glad we were able to get most of that out on the downside there for Apple.
Oh, ARM came to VWAP. Well, NVIDIA didn't quite get to an entry point for me, but ARM did. So ARM just tagged VWAP in here at 104. I'm in at 88. It's so weird. Like, it's such a lazy thing. In front of like 4 is usually going to have like 88s and 77. It is what it is. But the low of the day is 103.30. So I want to get some out in front of that low. This was a simple case of NVIDIA doesn't give you the chance. So take something which gives you the same setup. Dude, didn't quite. I said I wanted money fills above VWAP into 880. This tagged 878.5. So not quite an entry for me. I was willing to be underneath VWAP for ARM, but not necessarily for NVIDIA. Mullen apparently is still going. 3M is flying. Mullen's not even at the, oh, never mind. Mullen now back at the high of the day. So it actually opened up after the halt, came back in and tested VWAP. But I'm not really chasing Mullen. I might pay for locates in case it gets to $10 just to go over the SoFi. We're still in it. It hasn't really altered the plan. It put in another not higher low. It is a higher low, but it's actually a higher low off the entry point that I already had. So a higher low on SoFi, which is a good thing, but that's right where I'm long anyways at 66. It still needs to get back above VWAP. I do like this play back to 680. Just needs to get a little more oomph in it. And don't tell me Lilly's going down. No, it's not. Lilly sideways. So I just saw in the chat there RW saying Lilly's going down. Yeah, I see that as mostly flat on Eli Lilly. Not much of a trading vehicle for this thing. We don't really trade it, but it's just kind of chilling at VWAP. I think if it holds the gap, that's always a good sign post earnings. I don't mind a gap up doing nothing. I think that's good, and it's a little bit bullish as well that no one's trying to sell off and take their profits. But, I mean, it's at VWAP and not really doing much for you.
Oh, man. I don't know if anybody knows, but we do have a podcast. We did talk about Eli Lilly. It was my call of the week. I'll try to do one a week there on the podcast. We talked about Eli Lilly buying those 730s. I did do that in my own account. It's nice to see it upside there today. But again, this name could fall in. I'm going to hold this. I just thought it was a decent spot to start to get more in on that. We did mess up a little bit there. Not mess up, but Apple, we shoulda, coulda, woulda been short there at 174.80. So I put another offer there. I mean, we got 90s last time, or 87s. So we were up there again, but I'll switch it over to 80. It's now falling into the 50 period, so I did put a bid. Did I get filled? No, I did not put a bid, actually. I put a bid. Where did I put a bid? I guess I did not put a bid, but we should put a bid. Right there, 174.55.
Dividend increase.
Yeah, for IBM, I heard that. Yeah, I love Big Blue, man. Big Blue. Again, this is just a shout out to like Kramer and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not that Big Blue's been any good, but I've been buying IBM for a very, very long time. It gets that 5% dividend. It's a nice tech name, but look at IBM's earnings. Huge move to the downside. And this was a name. Again, you can go on my Twitter. Like, I don't just like, I'm trying to tell you like names that I get in and names that I get out of. IBM up here, we had put this out. We are out of IBM, but looking to buy more. Now that I see where this is, I am going to buy more IBM down here at 162. So this could be my next purchase. Right now, IBM down into this level. I like that price. And I think I like this next segment because it doesn't involve me or Neil. It's Adara at the big screen.
Not impossible to find a sector right now that is strong across the board. Lots of weakness, though. Consumer non-durables, very weak here, led to the downside by Tesla amidst more layoff announcements following its impressive rally yesterday. We have some weakness as well in retail trade. Keep an eye on Amazon, pretty flat here, but they do have earnings tonight, so AMZN absolutely on watch heading into the post-market area. Consumer services down, energy minerals down, process industries down, communications, industrials, pretty hard to find some strength, although of course it is worth talking about some of these earnings related names. Eli Lilly trying to hold up the fort here in health technology, really strong move after earnings, though it is worth keeping an eye on this one. And Novo Nordisk after the Wall Street Journal reported that the FTC is looking into some of the patents for these weight loss drugs. So LLY on watch, but overall strong in an otherwise weak health technology sector, guys.
Oh my God.
Oh, Meta is flying. So it did. Man, it just bounced off VWAP and
said
just
we wanted
took
to
out
buy
that
it,
high.
dude.
So it continues to go. This is trend up.
Damn
is
you,
Google
Cappy.
back at VWAP or bouncing off VWAP? That was the other one. No, Google's so weak. What is going on with Alphabet, man? The earnings were good. They did everything you wanted, but it's still trend down on Alphabet.
Oh,
That's a disappointment on Alphabet. I would have loved to see that be a little bit stronger. Anyways, it is what it is. I mean, you can't do anything about it. I want Meta to join this trend, but we did miss that opportunity getting into some ARM short. And that might even take it out. So we're short on ARM off that 4 level. It's trying to make that higher low. Every single time above VWAP, I like to give it to that top. My strategy for ARM is never get it all in at once. It's very similar to how I trade, when I do trade at SMCI. Never all in at once. Money fills are over the top. If it takes out a local high, we jump out of it. I think there's room to 101 today, but if the market wants to continue to go higher, this could take out a 105. This will be another name. I missed my dip buy on this one, and I learned a valuable lesson anyways by missing the dip buy, which is don't anchor to price. If you're looking for a move, when this dip happened, instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to bid 81s, all I had to do was buy the next open. I could have just put literally a market on open buy, gotten that dip where I knew I wanted to get back into this position, because if you're holding it forever or for years or months or whatever, it doesn't matter whether you get 88, well, to me it doesn't, whether you get 88 or you get 82 and a half. In the long run, it's probably the same thing. So I learned a little bit of a lesson. I was anticipating a breakdown in the stock and still managed to not get back into the half that I sold on ARM. And now I'm just finding myself in the same spot, looking for another dip buy in ARM. I am sitting in front of that 85, by the way. I do have a stink bid now. I think I put it at like 87 something.
All right. I just want to give a big shout out. Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin Mendoza. I mean, you gifted me a membership, so I want to say thank you so much to that one. Thank you, Kevin Mendoza, and I'll take the congrats. I mean, I want to say congrats to you, Kevin, as well. You wanted a lot of these bangers, and I hope that since you've been asking for them, every single day we have at least a $5 winner on board every single day. So, and no $5 losers. Look at this. Look at this one right here. There goes Apple. Okay, we reloaded. I mean, honestly, Travolta's like, yo, you know, no matter what your religious beliefs, says John Travolta, you can take trading to heart, because this one right here is what it is. And I mean, there ain't no smoke and mirrors here. We just shorted 175 again, Neil, on Apple. Some of these levels and what we're really working with, for me, has really changed, because now you can see it's much more chilled out. It's much more trusting the process, seeing which names we like, why we like them, explaining to everybody why we like them, taking profits when profit lies, and then getting hit when hits are there as well. I mean, it's just that, I said to Sharif, like, we were short up here 886, 887, and we got stopped out of NVIDIA right here. And then literally, as my kids say, 1 minute later, it was $5 in the money. And then lower than that 2 minutes later. But that's trading. So you're gonna have to take like those trades, the bad with the good. And you know, so that's what it's gonna be like. And that's why, like we keep saying, man, and I am gonna sound like a broken record, because there's a reason why 98% of day traders fail. Okay, it's because they can't be real with themselves. You could just look down at your P&L. If you're green, you're doing something right. If you're red, that's fine. You could be green or red. But look over a period of time, whether or not it's quarterly, monthly, whatever it is. But once you're in live mode, you have to understand why you're trading and what's the purpose of the exercise. Thank you, Sharif. And it's because the purpose is to make money. So if you're not doing that, you got to change something. Coming in every day and doing the same thing over and over again, we've already talked about what the definition of that is. So we're just going to wait, or what that is the definition for, but we'll just wait to see. Hopefully our routine continues to be a profitable one. It's definitely been working out as we head into the end of the month. Again, we don't talk numbers around here, but we're having our best month in a hell of a long time. And I want to say thank you to everybody for having patience with me and for staying here right there. So yeah, it's a tough one, but it's a game that I love, and one that leads us to what's for lunch. All right. Yeah, and you guys have known, man, we've brought in this kind of content to the show forever, man. We've had the fruit salad, we've got the flossing, we've got all this. We're trying to make this as enjoyable as possible. And today isn't too bad. Goes back here, roasted Italian sausage and chicken.
I'm always cool
with potato and cheese pierogies, glazed onions and sour cream. So a little bit of Italian mixed with a little bit of Ukraine. Sounds like a great combo to me. So there it goes right now. That's what's
all in the sausage
for lunch. Yeah, the sausage should be good.
I'm all in on the sausage. I'm very mixed on the, I'm not a pierogi guy. I'm just not a huge fan. But if you like it, if you like the show,
yes,
like the show, as we've heard a couple times. And for Mr. Gorillas in the Mist himself, Sharif.
I pity the fool.
I still got to see those.
What the? Whoa.
Wow. Here we go. Shots fired.
No. That's my Sharif button.
Shots fired.
Who did that? You come on my.
Shopify.
You have to literally have to go onto my. What did you do? Okay, so if I hit this one,
I pity the
that's.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, I'll get this show back on.
Okay, I see
on
how
the
it
rails
is.
here.
I see how it
Yeah.
is. No, I see what's up, Sharif.
Yeah, I
That's
got you.
fine.
Yeah. Real
Gorillas
see
in
real.
the mist over there. That's okay.
Gorillas in the mist. I was still waiting for a picture, man. I want to see
No,
this
I
guy
just
wrestling
asked
those
you.
gorillas.
I want to see safari pictures as well because I'm definitely never going on one. So the only way I'm going to see that.
What, Neil?
Come on, son.
Why not?
No. There's certain experiences that I just whatever. I don't need it, man. I am very okay like seeing things passively at like a zoo, but the safari, to each their own, man. My idea of vacation, I'll be chilling in Rome at some point this year. I went to Paris last year. I'll chill out on the beach, but I'm not walking with lions. I'm just to each their own. Like I'm not walking 2 meters away from a lion. I just do not.
I love that it's like we consider like our vacations the one that we just get from the show. this guy out here, man, living his best life.
I'm not. Like, I totally respect that. It's just I will not. I just don't think I would enjoy walking with a lion, at all. I'm sure it's a great experience. It's
It was
just
okay.
Not for me.
The thing is,
my
kid,
life for me.
Here's the thing about that. My kids walk with a lion every day.
Oh.
I would have spun it after that, Katina.
We're here, baby. We're in the building, Sharif. We are in the building. Okay, what's up to my pups, by the way? All right, let's go. All right, so let's go. PayPal right now.
By the way, Snapchat back to the high of the day, reloaded VWAP, and we're back to the highs.
Let's go. Let's
very
go
simple.
Snapchat. Let's
Very
go
simple.
Snapchat. Let's go Snapchat. Let's
Snapchat
go.
could squeeze, by the way.
Oh, I love that Snapchat
Because
trade,
it's
man.
still, like this is starting to get, if you're short, like the shorts on this one, I feel at least if it breaks like $18, that's a lot. But if it gets above there, it's already about to take the next level, which would be the 1550, and then it could go squeezing through the quad. I am not endorsing this as a long-term play.
Look at Apple.
I just think it's a bit of a nice little breakout on Snapchat.
Apple right here, guys. We just loaded. I mean, we just talked about getting that 175. It's at 174.52. Oh, man. All right, so nice trading here. We have Apple, 35 cents in the money, reloaded. PayPal, $1.80 in the money. Tesla, $4, $3.50. Looking to get more here. But the parties, are we going over to the desk? Because we have to talk about money talks.
I didn't hear anything.
Is that good to go, Fabian? Let's go to the desk.
Nice move up for the DXY, but still unable to break out of this chop and churn we've seen in the last few days here from that 105.60 area all the way up just shy of 106.20, continuing to see that struggle. We'll probably see a bit of a resolution to this for the DXY tomorrow potentially after that FOMC decision coming at 2 o'clock. For now, though, we do have some other economic data to discuss. Chicago PMI and CB consumer confidence both coming in lower than expected. Chicago PMI for April 37.9 versus 44.9 expected. Consumer confidence for April from CB coming in 97 versus 104 expected and 104.7 prior. So decent drop there for CB consumer confidence. On the flip side, we did get employment cost index quarter over quarter higher than expected. So 1.2% versus 1% to the upside expected. We do have, of course, tomorrow the FOMC decision coming at 2 o'clock with comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, which are always illuminating and always, or at least sometimes market moving there coming at 2:30. So definitely stay tuned for that. We also have JOLTS job numbers coming at 10 a.m. So definitely economic data and economic updates on watch for tomorrow. Could be moving that DXY, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose after today's number that I still forget the name of it. It doesn't really matter. Like, you got to respect any indicator that's going to move the markets, and there's definitely some ones out there that we don't necessarily think are market movers, and sometimes they have an effect. I would say overall that was maybe a modest move, and that the low of the day was on that number at 8:30, so there was no follow through. Just one more for you. SoFi, it did get to VWAP, but once it made this first move, remember I said new plan, higher low. There's your higher low, break of the consolidation, stop to there, play into VWAP and into the local high, hold some for the break into 680. So I have one more offer out here, probably literally at 75. On Snapchat, sorry, SoFi, we're in Snapchat as well, on SoFi, and then we're looking for it to get back up to 680. If it breaks through pre-market lows, as I'm missing a little data there, $7 would still be the level. ARM is still kind of doing ARM things. It's holding underneath VWAP. pretty much the same entry. We had the same trade, I think, a couple of weeks
buy
ago,
Tesla.
where it holds VWAP, it holds the higher low, but you wait to get half in here. If it breaks the half, that's previous highs yesterday, and then the close price 103, and then we hold for the low of the day, which would be at that 102. So similar strategy to what we did the last time on ARM short, working back under, as the futures stay red.
Yep. All right, 10:53. Now we're $5 in the money as Tesla just tanked again. So I don't know if there's news on that or not. I don't see anything. We are brought to you by the Benzinga Pro software. So here we go. Eli Lilly. Okay, that's just a news story about their report, so nothing there. Tesla. Again, you know, we talk about just being able to be confident about your trades. This Tesla one, this short today, we nailed this one. And I mean, we were just talking about it there today because I just thought that it was overheated to the upside, and then we got a couple negative catalysts. So, I mean, boom goes the dynamite straight there to the downside. Today has been a good day. Look at IBIT right here. If we're going to talk a little bit about crypto, we haven't done too much of that at all. Nice move right there for IBIT off that $34 level. So this was a level that we had talked about earlier today. But I wasn't overly confident in Bitcoin holding. And it has so far, 61.3. We did get a dip down into that 60,060 area, 600 area or so, down to 34.45. But it's held out pretty good. So a nice little move back to the up. Wow, we are really, what's cooking here right now? It's Apple. Apple is cooking to the downside right now. So, hey man, that's it. I mean, just look, I'll stop after this because whatever. I'm just trying to tell people, you guys always ask, how do you pick these levels? I mean, I tell you how, but look at today, 191 Tesla, 68 PayPal, 175 Apple, Shopify, we could check it, but I didn't think we'd get that. We talked about that we'd have to get lucky to get that. And then Palantir. So let's talk about the three trades that we're in. Tesla 191, Apple 1, these are by the way, big time trades. Let's check those levels out just real quick, and then we'll throw it back to Neil for the last 3 minutes. Look at Apple short, 175. That's what we wrote down. It's a monster. It's P&L number 2 here today. Look at Tesla, 191 short. This is a monster. It's now $5 in the money. It's P&L number 1. Look at PayPal here today. 68 does not hold. Okay, so we did get hit once we broke through 68, but then bought it right back up, and now is $1.90 in the money on PayPal. And I'll pass it over to Neil, but we are at our highest spot all day, and that's one for that one, another one, and an oh my God. Let's see what happens here with the next 3 minutes. It is a Adara and Sharif show coming in about 4 minutes.
In just about, well, actually just under 4 minutes, I wanted to give a shout out to Pop and Short here. Thank you for the super chat there. Pop and Short, grateful to the TTL staff for giving us a platform to learn to make money. Can you guys take a look at some small cap gappers? So, I mean, the lesson the last little bit has been gapper moves. So stick around, learn to trade has been all about gap moves, specifically on some small cap gappers. And yesterday I traded Mullen, today I didn't trade Mullen. Yesterday Mullen set up something for me it ended up a small win that if I got frisky with it could have been better, but you have to trade the setup. I didn't see anything I liked on Mullen today, so that's why I wasn't involved with it. But I'm in Snapchat and SoFi, which are kind of similar. But I just want to point out, all you have to do is stick to your own trading style and your own guns. Because PayPal, for me, it didn't work. I loved the long on it, but it trended down. 68 was the level I liked. I took shots. It kept breaking lower. Eventually, it got all the way down to 67.20s. And I had it one last time down there. So I'll be red on it. That said, sticking to the rules, took SoFi where we wanted it, took Snapchat where we wanted it, took ARM when it set up and NVIDIA missed on that VWAP play. And we'll go green after losing on the first 3 trades. You just kind of have to stick to your rules. So what? The market doesn't give a damn if PayPal worked out perfectly for you if you just held on to it and you didn't. The best you can do is move on to the next trade. That's the only thing, that's not the best, the only thing you can do is move on to the next trade. So at the end of the day, the market is not going to stop giving you opportunities, and it's your job essentially to try to take advantage of them. Just with about 2 minutes to go, just going to quickly Whoops, the Snap is spelled S-N-A-P. There you go. So Snapchat, whoever is selling up here, it's pretty obvious. You can see like 15 quarters. It gets above that price and it wicks back down. So if it fails it again, I'm not going back to the well a third time because I think you could break down from here. I think that would get a little bit nasty. It is at a resistance level from prior support, so I want to respect that, but it needs to punch through. I'm not going to reload a third time. I think you could really fill in the gap if it doesn't punch through that level. So we got to be patient with Snapchat. I like it. It's working to the upside, but I don't think I'm reloading a third time. It needs to make a higher high at this point, not the same one.
All right, Apple there, $1. We just take it right back into VWAP. So there's another trade, and yeah, like we said, do you guys? What's up, Hog Rider? What do I think of Microsoft at 398? Good Q, good Q. Let me see what they're doing right now. So I've talked about Microsoft. We actually talked about this on the podcast. It wasn't something that was too thrilling to me. I'm not overly excited about this name moving forward, but it still is it's probably my second largest position. But look at the reaction off earnings, not good. I think this fades out. I would only be going short on Microsoft. And I mean, again, take it for what it's worth. You guys know, what style you want to trade. We've been able to make money long, short, everything. We do have that ability to change your mind intraday. So for me right now, we were very, very bearish all day today. All the money for me, like I said, made Apple long, Apple short, Tesla short, the PayPal long, and the NVIDIA short, which was great, but again, stopped out at those levels. So we'll have one red name today and be pretty happy with it. We'll be where we need to be. You guys take that for what it's worth. It's 11 o'clock. Good day today, Neil. Best of luck to everybody during the midday. You can find us over there. Me and Brendo got to go do some podcasting and figure all that out. So we're going to pass it over here. I'm going to see if I can get a little warmer. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. By the way, I'm going to hit this right now quickly because we are close. I don't know if we have that count up, but we are close right now.
End of the week minimum.
Yeah, to that 500 right now. There it is. We are starting to go. We are starting to get going. So maybe thank you tomorrow. Again to everybody. I think maybe today.
It's possible.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Sharif Adera, let's pump those likes and subscribes and get it back over to the midday show. Kill them with kindness, guys.
Go get them.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for